Welcome, everybody, to the Making Awesome podcast. It is episode 220, and we happen to have a little number below us right now at 49,997, because that is where we are at with subscribers. It was Jacob's idea to throw the actual, counter on the screen during the show, so it will be there. So you guys can see when we hit 50, because that's a big deal.
It's a big milestone.
Right?
It's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big milestone. It's such a big milestone. I forgot to do the the giveaway form. Because I'm supposed to be a professional in all these things, but today we are going to be looking at the H2D and just talking about what we think. So I want to preface this with that neither of us have an H2D. We do not have it. We are assessing it from what we see in the media, what we see on the website, and everything like that. That is how we are assessing it. We are not going to make any assumptions regarding print quality or anything like that. I guess we probably will at some extent, but it's not going to be defamatory, to be clear.
No.
So we're gonna hang out. So let me get this link in there. Jacob, go through the H2D for the folks at home that don't know what's going on with it.
So the H2D is Bambulab's newest, greatest machine. They've returned back to the Core XY sensibilities that started their company. So it's not another bed slinger. And basically, the long and short is they took their already quite popular X1 series, done some very small modifications, made it bigger, added 2 heads, and then released that. And it's at a very nice competitive price point, starting at 1,600 quid, or I believe $1,800. I don't know the conversion off by heart.
Yeah, it's pretty reasonable. There it is. We just crossed 50K right on stream.
Yes, let's go.
There is 50K. Now who's gonna unsubscribe to take us under it, right? There is 50K.
Oh,
there's 50,001. So wow, that was a very, very easy and short recording that I had to do personally.
So remember to call your loved ones and keep making awesome.
Yeah, we'll see you guys later. All right, we're out.
Oh, complete side tangent. I don't care about the topic anymore. How long has it taken you to get to 50,000?
So we started at the tail end of 2020. So
5 years.
Yeah, 5 years. Now, there hasn't been a lot of let's go with thought process behind it all. We've just kind of been making videos. Only recently have we really been taking things a little bit more seriously than we have previously. So it's a little different, right? Than it used to be. So Matt with the ARS 5000 once again, using his home currency to never leave that board the entire time. For those wondering how much that translates to, it's about $5, and it's very funny every single time because YouTube doesn't realize that that's not 5,000 US dollars. But thank you, Matt, very much. Greatly appreciate it. Yeah, so we actually just crossed 50K on stream, which is kind of awesome.
It's such a nice milestone.
Yeah,
it honestly is. You must be really happy with that.
I am. Yeah, so now I can officially tell companies we are over 50,000 subscribers when we reach out to them for sponsorships.
Hey, it's a big thing. It really is.
It's
the minimum tier to start doing big projects.
You're right. And I previously thought that was 10K, then it was 25K, then it was 50K. So I'm sure the next one will be, all right, now starts the grind to 100,000, and we have to get there before the next 5 years kind of thing, right? So, yeah. Oh, look, now we're dropping. We're back to 50,001. Yeah.
They're going to keep teasing us the entire show now.
I think so. But anyways, the H2D um H2D is a very interesting machine. I I guess I didn't expect the laser, right? And yes, what Amber says, thank you to everyone for your support. I'm like, Grant, you have to focus on this on the podcast because there are going to be people that are listening to this audio only, and they really don't care about the number, right? They
Nah,
just
screw it.
they
This is
like.
your podcast. You should be proud and take that moment. You've hit the milestone. Take a moment, revel in it. You only get to do this once, or if the
If
viewers are
people
being
keep
mean,
unsubscribing, we
45 times, so we're going through it the entire time.
well, and yeah, like, and someone said, Skate Soup said 50K calling out callers out of BS strong. Yeah. We've kind of cemented ourselves as being one of the channels that's not going to let companies get away with a lot of kind of BS actions, and that makes us targets for other companies, and it makes it a little complicated for us to grow because we recognize that, like, I know that if I produce a video where I'm yelling at a company, it will get views and I don't even have to try to do it. But we won't do it because that's bad for business in general. Right? So when you see Grant rants and things, those are because I am legitimately, like, upset at something. It's not fabricated. But yes, there's 50,000 of you, a little over 50,000, that have decided that you can put up with me, which is kind of crazy. It blows my mind, and I don't know. It's a lot of work. I will tell you, this is YouTube is more than a full-time job, especially with the way that we're handling it. So yeah.
Yeah, be very proud. I'm very proud for you. Like it is a huge milestone and many years of hard effort to get there. So be happy.
A
Like
lot of
talk
money
about this to
spent to
everyone for
get here.
weeks.
Yeah. No, I am. I'm very happy. I didn't expect it to happen on stream, which is kind of funny. So, yeah, it is quite interesting. Oh, we're back down to 50K. That's funny. Oh, okay, we're under 50K again. Oh, we're dropping.
I'm so glad we didn't have it on a trigger. So every time it goes up past 50K, it does some form of
Oh my
effect because they will
gosh,
be playing
yeah.
with that all the time.
Yeah. That would be very funny.
Uh,
That'd be very funny. I saw David Connor Shover with the $5 says congrats project time. Yeah. So, we have some fun projects planned upcoming, so it will be quite interesting. But yeah, I am very thankful. I'm thankful for the team, Andrew, Rob. I mean, geez, let's look back at all the team members that we've had. We had Margaret that ended up doing the long cat design that we know and we all love so much. We have Layla now as one of our designers, who you're going to see some shirt designs of hers coming soon. Mad Cat USA for doing a lot of our copywriting. Jacob, obviously, for the co-hosting of the show recently. Who else have we had? I mean, we've had Justin on our team for a while, though he's in and out of college these days, and quite frankly, I can't afford him much these days. Our entire media team has made this possible. So you all shouldn't be congratulating me. You should be congratulating the team, because ultimately it is the team. We wouldn't be here without them, right? Anybody. Oh yes, and Brad. That's true. Brad during the summers when he's not in college. If it wasn't for the team, none of this would be here. I can't do this all on my own. So, thank you to everyone that has made this possible. Hey, 50K subs is for a new look. So, we will be rebranding is probably not the right word. We're going to be changing the look of the podcast.
Bit of a refresh.
Yeah, it's going to get refreshed. Next week, it will be different. So, oh yeah, we got to thank the cat, the director of marketing, of course.
Yep.
But yeah, really, we wouldn't be here without the team. Amber for all the camera work that she does. Jacob for the camera work that he's done. Every time that we travel, Amber is our camera lady. So if it wasn't for that, you get a lot of like crappy static shots that I put together. So yeah, it is not about me. This is not a celebration of what I've done. It's a celebration of what the team has done. I want you all to understand that. When you think about this channel, I know you see me as like the spokesperson, Jacob as the co-spokesperson here for the podcast, but it is not. It is not about me. I'm just the muse, right? I'm just the person that makes this possible.
I think Christopher Elliott says it very good, and this is why, like, even for me personally, I love spending so much time around you, is you are just exceedingly humble and you say it as it is. And it is a skill that not a lot of people have. And especially on YouTube where things are very curated sometimes, having you and the team behind you just being a very down to earth, I'm going to be your friend in this industry and just talk to you as if you were my friend. It is a breath of fresh air. And Christopher says it right. You are very humble. Thanks for the $5, by the way.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And Salty Rectum, hardly knew him, said congratulations, good day to all. John O with the 5 memberships as well. And Skypaper is asking if we have a Discord. It is a pay-gated Discord. That is the one thing that we chose to do early on. It is at the $10 tier and higher. And that's like the one time where I kind of let the business get ahead of what I want. Because what it means is that I can be more active in the server. Because I'm able to afford that time. And we have a much more like close-knit community. We have about 200 people in our Discord server. It is $10 a month to get access to it. But if you are looking to grow a small business in this industry, that is the cheapest $10 you're going to spend and get lots and lots of help to get there. If you're struggling with printers, it's a great place to go where you're not going to get bombarded with 50,000 different ways of how to do something, right? It is a much tighter knit community. And I will forever wonder if that was the right move. I believe it was.
I think it was. You don't get bots, you don't get trolls. Because people are paying to be there, you get this sense of everybody likes collaborating and being generally quite friendly.
Yep.
And it's a really nice place to be. I mean, hell, I am not a YouTuber. I am not a streamer.
Well, you are now.
But well, I am now. But I have actually done.
You have inherited
streams.
like a 50,000 sub channel. It's kind of interesting.
It was really funny. Me and Grant were talking only the other day about if I did a YouTube video, I'm probably just going to hand it to him, put his title card on the front, and just be like, I just want the information to get out of there. I can't be bothered to do it on my own channel. So he'll just be like, there you go, have a video.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, that $10 tier, it's worth it. It is probably as Grant has said, it is the cheapest $10 you will ever spend, and you will get so much more from it. And just the industry knowledge you can gain from the people in that Discord channel makes it worthwhile instantly. If you've got a weird esoteric problem that nobody else has had, we will probably have the solution in that server.
And if we're not, we're going to sit there and work with you on it. Like there's been a couple of times where it's been like, hey, I don't know what's going on. Can you jump into the voice chat and let's just get this thing on camera and let's take a look at it. Interestingly, we had a fan reach out to us. I think their name is Attila, so hello. And they set up a meeting with me, and they're like, "Wait, it's actually you?" I'm like, "What did you expect? Like, you set up a meeting with me. Did you not expect me to be in the meeting?" They're like, "Well, no. The email came from Victoria." I'm like, "I'm assuming you haven't been around this channel very long because that's a bot and it's named after my cat." It was very, was very funny. But yes, as
It was very
Tarzan says,
wholesome.
the experts curated in that Discord are absolutely insane. We have somehow built a group of SMEs in just about everything. Literally, that's factual. Like, if you have an issue, we have SMEs in quite literally every aspect that you could think of, from the basic tech industry all the way to one of our members did their thesis on producing metal powder by superheating it and blowing it into the air, from my basic understanding of what she did, and it is utilized for producing metal powder for 3D printing, which is kind of ridiculous. All the way to small engine repair. Yes. That's true. We might not have an SME in small engine repair, but we certainly go through it, and plenty of degenerates. That's true. We do.
That is very true.
And yes, Lily, welcome to the members only Discord, Layers with Lily. Reach out to me via email, youtube@3dmusketeers.com, and I will get you a link to the Discord as soon as possible. I was told if I donate, Grant would be required by Florida state law to wear a bamboo shirt. I don't have a bamboo shirt.
You can get bamboo fiber shirts.
I mean, I could. I could just do, like, you know, so for my birthday a few years back, Wexter and his entire Discord server sent me as many things as they could find with bamboo, spelled Bambu. This is crema para peñar, maybe? Piñar? It's hairdressing cream. Okay? It's hairdressing cream. I still keep it by my desk because it is hilarious. It is still sealed. I will never use it. But they found something that's actually Bambu off the shelf, and I think that is absolutely hilarious, and that just proves the level of friends that I have. It is hilarious to me.
That is brilliant.
By the way, we're back under 50K. So do we have to, like, celebrate every time we go above it? I
think we have to. I think we have to. It was so distracting every 30 seconds mid-sentence. Hey!
Hey! Oh! Hey! Oh! Hey! But all right, let's get to the meat and potatoes. So I know that's what everyone's kind of here. Hey, for the meat and potatoes. I'm just gonna do that every time it happens. People are here for the meat and potatoes about this H2D. The H2D is it's a very interesting machine. I wasn't expecting the laser, right? When they teased, when there was a leak, we're gonna put big air quotes around a leak. I think it's very obvious at this point that it feels very much like a purposeful leak.
Yeah.
If it wasn't, it wasn't. But I think it was. I was not expecting the laser, and you and I even talked about that we were expecting the laser to replace the print head.
Yeah.
And
the fact it just bolts on is a decision that they strongly made. And I have grown on it. I like how simple it is. You don't have to worry about removing all the complex parts of the hot end. It is just click, done. And that is a really you can't really get easier than click, done. Unless it was built in, and you're not going to get that. No. So they probably physically made it the simplest way possible. Yes, there is a caveat of it shrinks the build volume slightly. But you're not buying a H2D for the laser cutter. You're buying it because it might need a laser cutter. You're not buying it specifically because it's got the laser, which means you don't massively care that it shrinks the build volume ever so slightly.
Right, and that's where I'm at. It's like they went after Snapmaker, a company that I didn't think they would need to go after, but they did. I was expecting this machine to really kind of go more after the XL. And to some extent it does, right? It's got the independent dual extruders and all that. But it's not a tool changer, right? Also, Matt with the ARS 5000, it's an OMG 50K again. We are back under. But at this point, if we just keep doing that, it will be the entire show. So thank you for the for the donations. Greatly appreciated. Um, yeah, were you expecting a laser on this machine?
No,
Woo!
well, the thing is, like, I've just got the count up as well, so I'm going to be joining in. Like, it's not the YouTube official one. It is a third party one, but I'm going to be joining in every now and again. But no, I was not expecting the laser because they didn't need it. Like, they
No,
could have done no laser, no pen scribe, none of these extra features, and they would have still hit it out of the park with this machine. And I'm torn because if you ignore, like, in your head, like, separate it out, just H2D, no laser ever got announced, this will be the hottest thing on the market again. And it's weird because the fact they came out with the laser, it's changed opinion on it. It's almost like
yeah.
they've got this golden product and they've attached something extra, and it's actually reduced the vibe of everything.
Right? I think if they hadn't released the laser, I think people would be way more hyped about this machine.
I
I
know.
totally agree with you. And I think because there's this laser and there is just and this is how it feels, right? It feels that there's just a blatant disregard for the safety side of this laser, that it pulls away the value of the machine as a whole. Christopher Elliott points out that I did misspeak. It is not an independent dual extruder. They can't move independently from each other. It is just a traditional dual extruder printer. Thank you for that correction. You are absolutely correct. Mayor Make says combo machines are a phenomenon in many areas. Once you run out of differentiation, you just add adjacent features. It's a sign of stagnation and pressure from shareholders.
I half agree and half
Yeah,
I can see what you're getting at, but
I
I
can't
don't
see
think this is
Bambu
pressure
having
from
pressure.
shareholders.
Yeah, Bamboo is like, if you want to look at a success story in this industry, it's Bamboo. Straight up, it's Bamboo. A company that started with nothing and in what, 3.5, 4 years has become one of
The
the
top
top
dog.
3 competitors in this space, period. And when you talk to a random person about 3D printing, the chances of them knowing 3D printing is considerably higher because of Bamboo, right?
I mean, what I think there's somebody either leaked or somebody announced like the sales numbers for Bamboo is in like just unit quantity, not
Oh, yeah.
physical numbers.
Yeah.
And it's 8 to 12 times higher than Prusa. Like they have come out and it's like instantly in the top 5,
Well,
if not the top 1 just from sales numbers.
you have to remember, right, when the X1 came out, there was nothing like it. The other like big competitor machines were the Ender 3v2, the Prusa Mark III S Plus, the Construct 1 3 days prior.
Not salty about that
Yeah,
at all.
look, you know,
We chose a random time. We didn't know it. We're like, this is a good time. Nobody's launching anything. We launched at TCT as on like a little nice public, and then three days later, Bamboo goes. So we go, oh,
You're like, oh, that work for what? Yeah, no, look,
we flew out to Malta with printers. That was our first international trip with machinery. And then Bambulab just went, piss off. We're here now. Oh,
but you were and still are officially the first Bamboo printer, and
that
that's
is
just
true.
funny enough on its own. So
The OG bamboo manufacturing company.
that's right. That's right. You know, and when we look at the industry, it is obvious as to why Bamboo caught on so much. They looked at all the holes in the market that existed, and they said, how about we just patch them? How about we produce something in a way that solves every problem that people complain about? And they did. And it's kind of a pain in the butt because it means that everyone was kind of forced to play catch up. But I think it's worked well because as the companies have caught up, We've seen price points get forced down. We've seen some innovation out of the other companies. But what we've certainly seen is a more deliberate push for the future of this industry.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal. Steve Builds, member for 22 months basic support, says howdy. He also said congrats on the 50K. And he just gifted 20 memberships, so that's going to be that's going to wipe the entire chat. Thank you very much, Steve. And you all are going to get to go hang out with Mr. Steve Builds as he is back from TCT Asia and he is doing a co-stream with Monbot. Assuming that we don't send you there 10 seconds before he finishes his stream like what happened last time. But thank you very much, Steve, for the 20 memberships. So many people are now going to get access.
That is so many memberships.
Yep. So many people are going to get access to behind-the-scenes content, of which there's probably 2 or 3 videos coming out for behind-the-scenes in the next week. So stay tuned. Thank you very much, Steve. It is greatly appreciated. And if y'all don't know Mr. Steve Builds, you got to go make sure you get subscribed over to his channel. He is a super awesome content creator that does a lot of live stream content. He's on the Voron design team, I think. If he isn't,
I think he is, yeah.
He's Trident Daddy, okay? He's the one that is responsible for it. And as a lot of you know here on the channel, when we have problems with our printers, we do not take a dime of responsibility. We directly blame Steve Builds because somehow it is his fault. Love you, Steve. We have a good relationship, I promise. Okay, he is on the Voron design team. Yeah, Steve's a great guy. Thank you, Steve. Someone had mentioned that they think that the H2D was overhyped. And because it didn't meet what a lot of people were expecting, that the hype fell. Right? So the hype was there, but the actual, like, woo, was gone because it wasn't what people were expecting.
I agree, but I don't think it was because of the hype. I think the hype was justified before we found out there was extra features. If they came out with a bigger dual head with up to 5 AMS ports with a new AMS system entirely and their HT AMS or AMS2, whichever way you want that. If they just came out with that, I think the entire industry would have exploded once again. And I think it's just they've learned the hard way that watering down your product, even if you're adding more, makes it, well, there's only so much cognizant thinking customers can do. And if they come out with the golden nugget and then a kind of weird side, like, taster piece, it's all merged together and it just reduces it that little bit. Like, even now, if you want a bigger Bambulab printer, it is the bigger Bambulab printer. That's all people were asking for from the start was, hey, can we get an X1 but bigger?
Yeah, we want an X1 XL, right?
Yeah, they said they want a bigger X1. And then they were like, okay, what if we gave you a bigger X1 with 2 heads? And they were like, whoa, amazing.
I'll take it. Let's go. More head, more better. Wait, what?
Wait. Hey, $20 is $20.
Amen to that.
For $10, you get access to the Patreon. But no, if I came to you instead with a bigger Bambulab with 2 heads and then go, you know what? The AMS integrated dryer now. All heated. You'll just die on the spot. It's amazing. They only needed that and they did it. And I've got to praise them for it. They've done exactly what everybody was asking for. And for some reason, they've also added more features.
That nobody asked for.
Nobody asked for lasers. Nobody asked for drag parts. Nobody asked for pen plotters. Woo! Woo! Oh, mine's 4 seconds late. It's really interesting. Mine shows like massive dips of like 130 subscribers and then it goes back up.
No, it's not doing it. It's like up and down. Yeah, like I would love, and I think more printer companies should have drag knives and pens, right? So you can do the you could do multi-material supports without doing all multi-material supports. Because like that's super cool. But like
it's a niche. It's a niche, and I think all of these little niches have watered down what they've actually done. And it's annoying because they deserve to have all the hype for their bigger printer.
They
Like, I will
do.
give it to them. Like, I am not a Bambulab shill. I'm probably the exact opposite because I make a competitor to them ish. Like, I make printers. I am not a Bamboo sellout.
Your price
But I
points
will give
aren't
it to them.
close enough that they're competitors, but they're competitors in a completely different price class, right?
I like to think of myself more as a maker first. And that's why I will always say Bambulab deserves to have the win on this. Like, they've made a very good machine that fixes more problems, comes out with features people have been asking for. They listened to the community. They came out with an AMS that fixes the main problems of the AMS, which is the tubes are stupid and they put them in the back. Now it's in the front, so you don't have to strip the AMS to fix it.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you. That's the
nice.
one thing I hated the most. And
Yeah.
it's got a dryer. Like, they've listened to the community on every part they needed. And then they did something weird. And it's just given this weird, like, aftertaste to what should have been the thing people are talking about for weeks. And now, I mean, look at YouTube. Like, Uncle Jesse was asking, is this a disappointment? No, the printer is not a disappointment, but it feels like it
If
is.
you ignore the laser, I think this machine is amazing. And K2 Kevin says maybe people are just forced to make a decision, H2D or H2D with lasers. Much easier to be hyped when a critical $1,000 decision doesn't need to be made. And you know what? He's totally right at
Yeah.
that. And like, you can take an H2D and upgrade it later on. But like, why not just release a dedicated machine? And like, the answer that is obvious is space, right? And we saw quite a few of those comments in Printfix Friday where it's like, I live in a small apartment. I don't have the space for 2 dedicated machines. I don't do a lot of laser cutting or don't want to do a lot of laser cutting, so this machine is perfect. I'm like, okay, but you do have to understand where this thing lands in terms of how dirty it's going to get. You have to be careful with your materials. And there's no current way outside of just utilizing Bambu's own materials, which is the safest way to do this right now. If you're new to laser engraving, spend the extra money, buy Bambu's raw materials, because they've got the little sticker with the sensor on it so we can determine what it is. Because if you start lasering things that you don't know, chances are you could cause problems.
I'd go higher. The chances are 100%. If you're lasering things without knowing what you're lasering,
I'm
you
going to go
probably don't know
99
the
because
safety side.
there's not a guarantee. It's pretty high, but there's not a guarantee. Right?
But laser is a very interesting side like upgrade that they've given, where 3D printing is generally quite safe. Like, you could in reality print ABS, the worst material to print with, and it's still generally quite safe, even if you were venting it directly to your lungs. Would I do it? No, but it's not going to cause irreparable harm pretty much instantly. A laser, however, can in multiple ways. The laser itself is a high energy source.
Don't
It
look at
will
laser with
damage.
remaining good eye. I mean,
Yeah,
literally,
it
it's
will.
a joke in the laser industry.
Yeah, like, I have a sticker on my laptop that has that joke on. That's how common it is.
There's a sticker
Like,
on my laser with that on there.
lasers are dangerous. Like, there's no way you can get
Yeah.
around it. The laser itself is dangerous, which is one thing. Like, if you're working on a CNC, yes, the cutting bit is dangerous. Same with the laser. The bits that makes the cut dangerous. But it's very rare the material you work with is dangerous. And that is actually the thing that scares me the most. Because people will start putting plastic that they find around the house, and most of them won't have those little plastic recycling numbers. I don't know if America has the little recycling triangles.
But it's very vague, right? So I think it's like numbers 1 through 5, and like PVC is not on those numbers.
No.
But yeah,
the EU's good with that, where they do say for most plastics you have to have a mark of what the plastic is. But even then, you will find bits around your house so you're like, oh, this is a sheet of plastic. Let's engrave on it. Or
let's cut it.
And then all of a sudden, you've actually done serious bodily harm.
I've got a random bag that has sanding belts in it. Oh, let's laser engrave the bag. I can almost guarantee you this bag is PVC, just from the way that it feels. Also, code 3 is PVC. Thank you, SoundSpark. Yeah, like,
some materials are not worth risking your safety on, and some of them are very dangerous very quickly. Like if you get any with like a tetrafluoride in the plastic, or even if you get fire retardant plastic, so you might get a
oh my
safe
god, the
plastic,
smell
but
of the
it's got
fire retardant
V0
agent.
fire retardant.
Oh my god, it's so bad.
You're going to smell it for
Oh, it's
weeks.
so bad.
It's going to coat everything.
Yeah.
But it's not safe to breathe. Like the whole point of fire retardant is to stop it burning, not stop you dying.
No, like
it's to stop further damage.
I've printed an FRABS in the house once. I am banned from printing it inside because it smells, and it's a heavy smell that gets stuck in fabric, and like you'll smell it for weeks, and it's like once you smell it, it's too late. It is already too late, and of course you're in the middle of a print that you don't want to stop because this stuff is like $80 a kilo.
And that's printing, where you aren't vaporizing the material. Imagine
Right.
if you're vaporizing it. You start cutting, you're immediately just dead.
Right.
Not
and
literally, but
content creators like Tripods Garage, Phoenix, and a few others have like been very, very vocal. Nero has. We've been vocal. You know, there's a lot of us that are being very vocal saying we don't necessarily have an issue with machines coming with this kind of thing. However, we have an issue when there's not like bona fide safety practices that are occurring. Now, all of us that are being critical of it currently don't have the machine. So we're not able to determine, does the machine say, before you go to laser, hey, is this PVC, this? If so, maybe don't start this job. And because this machine is required, for the most part, to be connected to the internet, Bambu has a really easy ability to just add this into firmware so that to use the laser module, you must go through all these little training videos or whatever it is. But I will say, from what I've seen from the software, A+. A freaking plus.
Oh, yeah. Their integration,
freaking
once again, amazing.
Yeah. Bambu,
I've got to give it to them. They do it good.
And this is one of those times where they, as far as I'm aware, they did not steal from open source, try to pass it off as their own, get caught, and then have to, claim it as open source. It appears that they designed this from scratch. Now, if you look at it, it looks a lot like Glowforge's software. Like a lot like Glowforge's software. But that is really nice to have all of that integrated into a 3D printer program. And if I can utilize Bambu's lasering software on other lasers, hold on now. Now you're telling me that I only have to learn one program and the entire ecosystem that I want to use is handled? Yes! That's awesome! Will I personally? No. But
I would love to see Bambulab actually come out with a dedicated, definitely not stolen by Glowforge laser system. Because
it would make sense.
They've got the software, they've got the laser, they've done all the hard work. All they need is the body. And they've got the knowledge of how to do it. I would love to see a Bambulab like dedicated laser thing with all of their technology in it. It would just work. And then they're making a new ecosystem. I mean, hell, the name Bambulab is not 3D printer only. It's not 3D printers by Bambulab. It's Bambulab, which means they can pivot to other technologies. Like they could make a mini mill and it would fit in their ecosystem. They could make a laser system.
God, if they made a decent mini mill, you might get me to buy that. You might get me to, especially if CAM is done inside of like a Bambu Studio style program where it is very simple and it is designed to kind of hold your hand. Damn, son. And yeah, like building that extra unit, it's like the P1, the P1P came out and then the P1S came out. We're like, oh, well, that makes sense. Yeah. Right. I think a dedicated laser machine is likely to come here because it doesn't make sense not to do it. And if we look at it as, let's separate the laser from the printer, I'm pretty impressed with the machine as a whole, because they've got a lot of cool features that I wish other brands had thought of. And, well, are going to do, because everybody just clones it, right? Like, that little thing that goes underneath to block the nozzle ooze.
So nice.
Oh my god, that is so nice.
I mean, even the fact that the heads, everyone for some reason, now we see it, it makes so much sense. But before, if you had dual heads that moved, they both moved. But it's just one, which means you don't have to index the other one. Once you've got it in, it's set. You don't worry about it. It's the other head that you do all the math on. It's so simple and so smart.
Yep.
And I've got to give it to them. In hindsight, it makes instant sense.
They're filament cutter, so there's not, as far as I'm aware, there's not a massive exclusion zone anymore for the cutting sequence. There is a mechanical thing that flips out that it can run into to do its cutting sequence. Like, brilliant. Now, I have a printer with a mechanically operated bed leveling probe. It goes up and down, and it is mechanically operated by channels inside of the printer. It is a printer so old that I would bet few, if any, people out of our 50,005 subscribers know about it, let alone own one. And I have both of those things. The Solid Doodle Press. It was... Solid Doodle Press is what they were going after Bambu before Bambu existed. Like, this is the 3D printer for everybody. It was my first, like, this looks really nice 3D printer that wasn't, like, 60 grand, right? I've had many machines prior to that looked very nice, but they had a very expensive price point associated with it. The thing was, that machine, no bearings. It was plastic on metal rails. It had no part cooling fan. It had an enclosure, but it wasn't great. And it looks like a mini fridge. If on the standing set, it's the black mini fridge looking thing that's behind me and off to my left. So it would be off on that side on the standing set.
I legitimately thought that was a mini fridge.
It's a printer. It's a Solid Doodle Press. And it is the printer that caused Solid Doodle to go bankrupt. Yeah. Jason says, if those guys try to push chip film, we got shunned for it. No, that's DaVinci. And DaVinci pivoted to doing high-end machines, so they don't really care. So if we remove the laser aspect from the HD, and I think K2 was saying he wishes you could get the drag knife and the pen without the laser module, and I guess those only come with the laser module. I would totally agree. I would want those separate, so I hope that Bambu allows that.
It wouldn't surprise me if there's a mod eventually that just lets you get them, or like just the replacement parts and do it, because I don't see why in both software and hardware the laser upgrade is required to do a drag chain. Like, if it just clicks on like the rest of it, the hardware's already there. You should just be able to buy the replacement part and use that. But don't quote me on that. I haven't done it. So
right.
Find out once the community does it at least once.
Or the community gives Bambu enough crap and then they allow you to make that upgrade from a standard H2D, and everyone says that Bambu was amazing for allowing this, and in reality they never had intention of doing it. They had enough people complain and they went ahead and just, did it anyways. But I would say that Bambu is once again, with the H2D as a printer, moved the industry forward in a direction that I'm not certain that it was ever going to go without the kind of, I want to say gentle push, but realistically, it's a stiff arm while they're holding a football, and, they've got a 400-pound linebacker that is moving with enough momentum to just obliterate anything in its path, right? Like, I own a Prusa XL, so the H2D doesn't really have a value proposition to me. If I didn't own an XL, the decision between an H2D and a Prusa XL ultimately comes down to, do you need the bigger build volume, Are you okay with only 5 heads? And do you want to support a company that was founded upon open source and has basically brought this industry to where it is? Or do you want to support the one that has forced the industry to where it is by innovating? Like, it comes down to ideologies and budget, right? Because you can get a fully loaded H2D laser for less than a 5-tool head XL.
And hell, if you're only doing the printing side, you get all of that even cheaper. Like, you don't even need fully loaded at that stage.
No.
Because if you're only doing the printing, it is, well, what is it? You can get 3 H2Ds for the price of one fully loaded Prusa XL.
Yeah. Because like
that is a decision. Like, you have to be like, hey, do I want technically 3 times the speed of one machine? Because you've got 3. And I'm pretty sure the flow rate of the H2D will be about 60% higher than the Prusa XL at the moment. Just because of that extra melt chamber and the high flow.
Yeah, XL doesn't have high flow.
From the math is that, now I don't have the numbers. I wouldn't trust anyone else's numbers unless they've actually told you the material, the temperature, and the settings that they've used.
Kudos to Bambu, they actually do that on their website.
Yep, but never trust a manufacturer's claims.
No, never. Ever. Absolutely verify them yourself.
This is coming from me, a manufacturer. Do not trust our claims. That's why on our website, we didn't make any claims. We got a third party, government-sponsored like research lab to make our claims. We don't make any of our claims at all. And that's what you should always do when it comes to research. So don't trust. Now, you can use as a guideline. Bambulab probably have not lied with their claims. They're smart enough not to do that.
It's a trust
but they're
verify.
also they might have bumped it up maybe 10%.
Yeah.
Trust but verify.
Trust but verify.
Make it yourself. And I legitimately think the H2D is just in general from flow rate, from analyzing the length of the nozzle, and with their new high flow, it will be a relatively faster, probably between 30 and 40 to maybe even 60% faster than a Prusa XL. The caveat is you only get 2 heads, meaning if you wanted by material, you only have 2 choices. It's one material and the other with however many colors you want.
As soon as you have to use an AMS, it doesn't matter anymore. The XL can wipe. And that's where tool changers really start to matter. And let's not even talk about the index, okay?
But I'm trying not to bring that because it's the only thing in my head.
Jacob, do you still have it hotkeyed?
It's on this monitor.
No, you can't just do that. No, sir. That is not, you did not have that ready.
I've also got that now.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Take that away. Oh, God, no. But tool changers will, for the foreseeable future, because Bambu could find a way to make AMS-style machines as fast as tool changers. I don't think they're going to. I could, have a little humble pie from that. Prove me wrong, basically. I'd love it when I get proved wrong in this industry. But I believe that tool changers will always be faster than a AMS system, because you don't have to rewind anything. And so when you're talking 5 colors, so 3 to 5 colors or 3 to 5 materials, the XL is going to wipe the floor simply because it doesn't have to do all of that stuff. But you could easily argue that for the money savings alone, you're willing to take the time hit.
Yeah.
Some people
saving a couple $1,000 is a lot of money for most people. Like, if you're a business and you're spending a couple $1,000 an hour on labor, you probably don't care at that stage, and you're going to buy what's best for you, no matter what the price point is. But if you're a maker at home and you've got, let's say you've been saving for a bit, or you're just really into the hobby, $2,000 is quite a lot of money, and you've got to make the decision of, do I want a relatively complete experience, which is the H2D. Like, you open the box, you press print, it's very unlikely you'll get a lemon. It will just work.
Yeah.
Or you go with the Prusa line, and the Prusa line is a more, let's call it industrial design focused machine. it's more brutalist. It's more about the outcome instead of the process to get to the outcome.
Yeah,
Like
it's
you
the
have to assemble it
utilitarian 3D
slightly.
printer.
Yeah.
It's not pretty, but it will work.
And there are choices like repairability on one versus ease of repairability on the other. Like the Bambulab one looks easier to repair than a Prusa, but only within the areas that they've allowed you to repair it.
Does it,
So
though?
like replacing the hot end. For me, I would strip a hot end and replace every part if I needed to.
Oh, it's really easy
But
on a Prusa, but it's not
I
one
know
lever
how
easy.
it's not one lever. That's
It's
the
not,
thing. You pay
yeah.
a bit more for bamboo, but you just rip the entire thing off and you put another one on. So it's these sort of the decisions is, are you the maker or are you the hobbyist? And it starts separating that way. And then it goes, are you the business or are you just the user? And it keeps separating that way. And that's where a lot of the decisions come to fruition with, oh, I just want to start printing and I don't really care about spending maybe £30 more on repairs. I just want to get it back to being working. And I'm like, there we go, we're working again. Like that is the big decision.
It's
And
the
you save a
Apple.
bit of money at the start.
It's Apple versus Android, right?
Yeah.
Do you want something where you have full control to do whatever the hell you want, mod the piss out of it? Or do you want something where, yes, the ecosystem is more expensive, but it is a more robust ecosystem because it's more expensive, and it has easier adoption because it is so easy, your grandparents can use it, right? A bamboo is easy enough that I believe an untrained individual could set up a bamboo and have it running within 15-20 minutes. Now, I would argue that the Prusa Core 1 is the same way, but it doesn't have the same experience. The XL, not even close. Like, not even functionally close to get it out of the box and get it running. And I love my XL. It is a terrible machine if you want to unbox a printer and print immediately, because you literally cannot do that with the XL.
You have to assemble it.
You have
at least partially.
Even the non-kit variant, you still need a lot of assembly, right? And you know, Phoenix with $1.99, thank you very much, says combination machine, thumbs down. But that's the thing. You don't have to have the combination machine. You can choose to not have the laser. That's completely your prerogative. And I feel like if they had just released the H2D and brought out the laser upgrade kit.
Yeah, maybe like a month later.
3 months. Give me 90 days. Because you want enough time for your new machine to start shipping. You want to
find the problems.
Yeah, you want to find the problems. You want to fix them. But you also need enough time for that marketing hype that you've built to extend out a little bit. Let it expand, right? But now what's happened is that it's kind of overshadowed by this safety nightmare. And while, yes, they have the proverbial, oh shit button, right, with the e-stop, it doesn't solve the problem to me that had they just released it without the laser, it would have been better. But at the same time, their marketing's working because we're doing an entire podcast episode dedicated to this machine. So clearly the marketing machine, those wheels be turning. Oh, big wheels keep on burning. Oh.
So it's free to unsubscribe right now. Let's bring us back down.
Joe Chacho, my good friends Jazz and Joe, saying congrats on the 50K. We love you, Grant, Joe, and Jazz. Yeah, good friends Jazz and Joe. And Jazz starts her new job on Tuesday.
Oh, congratulations.
Starts her new job. Yeah, she is entering into a more stable 8 to 5 job as a nurse rather than the crazy like 3 12s a week. She should get like the nice easy thing. But yeah, anyways, I do think it is it's an interesting push. I still think we would have had this podcast, but I think we would have been way less critical.
Like, I think we would have been more positive, like a lot more positive.
Let's ignore the laser. Let's ignore the laser and look at the machine as a whole, it's a pretty good machine.
It's a damn good machine.
Like,
Like, if we're not going to see clones of this machine, something's gone horribly wrong in the industry because that's how good this machine is.
and that's kind of the fun problem. There are people out there that are like, and we see it in our comments, I'm going to wait 3 to 6 months for the P series of it to come out. Or I'm going to wait for Elegoo to copy it. I'm going to wait
The
for
FlashForge copy.
AnyCubic or FlashForge. Yeah, I'm going to wait for all these other companies to copy it because I'll get it for half the price or less.
And somebody said in the chat earlier, I've forgotten your name. Don't kill me. They mentioned that the patent for the hot ends looks like it expired.
Did it?
I've been scrolling through trying to find it again. Unfortunately, I don't know if there's like a Control F feature for finding
I don't think
specific
there
wording.
is, but if it was you, just re-comment.
Yeah, like if the patent has expired
That would be
for that nozzle system, we are going to start seeing a lot more good dual nozzle printers. Because that was the big thing. Like dual nozzle had an inherent problem. The nozzles were at the same height. And
they run into things.
Like the printers are good enough to have two hot ends on the same carriage. Like they're fast enough. Input shaping fixed all the issues. But that system fixes it all. It makes it so much nicer. And if that did expire, we're going to see some really, really nice machines coming out on the cheaper side. Like it doesn't need to be as polished as Bambulab because Bambulab's done all the heavy lifting.
Everybody's like, those that are buying the clones have already accepted that they're willing to deal with slightly less features to spend way less money. And
imagine
that's
a
okay.
H2D discount for $600.
Yeah, I'd take it.
I'd buy that instantly.
I mean, personally, as a business, it's also like, do you steal my data? Because if you don't steal my data and you let me run you completely offline, or maybe you're running Clipper and you let me just flash my own damn Clipper onto it, then I'm much happier, right? As a business, I can't go with the H2D because of its necessity to be online. And Joel put it very succinctly in his video. This is Bambu's newest machine. It has the firmware that people got up in arms about. If that's a problem for you, vote with your wallet. Now, that is the professional way of saying you should know better, and if you buy this, you have no space whatsoever to complain if, and potentially when, they lock you into the ecosystem and force you to pay to use your machine. You will have no place to complain. Because you knew this, and you still did it anyways. Max H with the $5 saying, are not lasers dirty? I mean, yeah, ABS, ASA materials that have styrene in them tend to release a lot of dross. Georgis, one of our Discord members, for 11 months now, says, certified Bambu hater here, machine good. Unhappy face. Well, I get it. I think a lot of people expected us to come on and just shit on this machine constantly. And no. And there are plenty of things that we can, right? You know,
like I will happily take a dunk on their stupid isolation wheels for their printer. It doesn't do anything. It's a gimmick. They saw whatever the hula wheels were and were like, yeah, we're gonna do that. They didn't analyze it because then they would realize it doesn't do anything. But everything else on that machine is good. I've got to give it to it. It looks fairly good. It doesn't look as plastic as I thought it would.
No.
It does look much better in real life now, even though I've not seen it in real life, but in camera, it looks a lot better. The motorized vents, that's a really nice touch. They didn't need to do that, but they did. The huge HEPA filter, or the carbon filter, it's not a HEPA, it's just carbon.
Yeah.
But that they could have cheaped out and they could have still ticked that marketing box. The heater is massive. They said supported in their tech spec. I assumed it was going to be like an add-on that they could have upsold. No, just comes with it.
And if nothing else, this machine just completely eliminates the X1E from their product line.
Yeah, that's the only thing I don't understand. Well, actually, no, I do
I
understand it
completely
because it's
understand
an
it.
always-on machine
Yes.
versus the X1E, which you could isolate very easily.
And I should have thought of that when we were talking about our price points and what we thought this machine was going to cost, because putting it at the $1,800 starting point was absolutely a way to, if you're looking at the X1E versus the H2D, you're like, I want a bigger printer. I want two heads. Why wouldn't I get this? And there's enough reasons to pick the H2D over the X1E. And the only reason you would choose the X1E is if you need to isolate it from a network.
Yep.
And
And spoiler alert, I've been to a lot of military companies recently.
yeah,
They don't even buy X1Es. They buy just regular X series, even P series,
because
and then they
destroy
isolate
them.
it on the network. So yeah, like they don't care. Well, actually, some of them don't. That's the problem.
Some of them don't,
But
and
that's
I
their
care not to
problem.
get into ITAR.
And I make sure I be like, hey, is that networks? And they go, oh yes. I'm like, you fucked up.
Yep.
But that's a separate conversation. But the X1E for Bambulab was not a great seller.
No.
Like, why buy an X1E when you could just buy a regular X1C and then a network admin goes, yep, firewall.
Yep. Yeah.
Like that was the decision factor there. And that was it. So yeah, I don't blame them for killing the X1E. I do find it odd because companies like Bambulab and DJI, they don't just kill products unless they were exceptionally bad. But I can understand why. The H2 with always on networking, you lose pretty much all of the features if you get rid of that network. So you're not going to do that. It's a better machine for less.
Comparing those two machines, it is a very, very hard pressed. You literally would only get the X1E because you need to have the network kill switch. That's it. That's the only reason. And by the way, 266 people liking, only 82 or 266 people watching, 82 likes. Got to pump those numbers up. You know.
And if you're not subscribed, you get to see your number go bigger.
Yeah.
Like, you get to see a thing.
Number get bigger. You know, and I think Nero put it best that the two big releases this past couple of weeks have been the H2D and the Index, and the H2D has been met with kind of a milquetoast response from people.
Yeah.
And the Index has been like, oh my God, I need this. And then the price of the Index,
that's cheap.
It's cheap. I don't know.
I'm going to say it now. Bondtech, you should have doubled your prices.
Don't.
From businessman to businessman, you should have doubled your prices. Now, as maker, oh, I love you. I'm going to buy so many of them. Thank you for doing this. I'm going to add this to every printer. Money for that. Like, business, you could have made bank.
But like
hobbyists, you're going to make bank.
They kind of are though, because you're only paying for one hot end assembly and extruder assembly. Then it's just Then it's just tool heads.
It's a couple $100 for the main head, and then it's like what was it, like 75 or $100 just for every tool head?
$250 for the main thing, and then $35 for every every additional
it was cheaper
head.
than I remembered.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was so much cheaper. I thought it was $450 and $100. Even at $450 and $100, it's cheap.
But like and I'm looking at the SV08 saying, oh man, that machine just got really, like, as a business, fully enclose a Sovol SV08, put it to bone stock clipper, right? Because it's just a Voron 2.4. Put it to bone stock clipper, put a Bondtech Index on it, and you can build a poor man's Prusa XL, which is almost the same build volume, for half the price, if not less, and have you could have like 9 heads on this thing in an SV08. Bondtech will be making a mistake if they don't give you an SV08 conversion kit. Like, if they do it, I will guarantee you that I will put one on my SV08. Guaranteed.
I feel kind of bad for Michael from Teaching Tech for going through all of that effort, making like all these changes to make a multi-head SVOA, and then Bondtech come out with this, like, bam, just instantly invalidate all of that effort.
Bambu is seeing what it feels like to be Construct 3D, I guess, right?
Ah,
Yeah, the H2D was released
it's
like
true,
3 days
though.
before the Index was
It's
its
very
price point
true.
came out. So, um, Sip of Coffee says SV08 plus enclosure plus Index is less than 1K. I don't think it is. SV08 is like $800 to begin with, and the Index is 250 plus 35 minimum. So no, that my math says over 1,000, but still,
Oh no, you can get the SV08 for $500.
no shit.
I've just googled it.
It's
If you get it from Soval
it's
themselves, it's
650 US. I thought it was
570.
like $800.
If you get it from
Damn.
AliExpress through what looks like Soval's official store, I can get it for 390 quid,
That's a cheap
which is
printer.
like $480. That is actually.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of people saying 550 at large, 650 at large, 569, nice, in the US, 390 quid. Jacob,
£393,
Jacob,
not
take that
38
rat
pence.
rig, yeet it out the window, and put an SV08 in its place. um, yeah, like, anyways,
Yeah.
much cheaper than I thought. So yeah, you might be able to do it for under $1,000. You're not going to get like multi-tool all that for under $1,000, but you can get pretty close. Yeah, the SV08 is going to be that powerhouse for modders that don't want to go through the BS of a Voron.
Yeah.
And that's totally fair. 100% fair. I don't blame you. When we look at the H2D, like Karen, she's in here. My friend Karen, she bought an H2D. Bought it, launched it. Right? I think she bought it with the laser. Doesn't know if she'll use the laser, but would rather have it. And for the extra price point, if you buy it and use it a couple of times, it probably pays for itself. But if you buy it and never use it, I can see a business. And so we have some Bambu resellers in our Discord. And they said, we've had a lot of sales on the H2D, and it has all been to businesses, and they have all, except for a couple of them, been with lasers.
It makes sense. Like if you're a school or an educational establishment and you're well, especially in the UK. The UK is not in a great place financially, so schools are generally quite underfunded. A lot of them are now doing personal. Well, let's not get political.
Moving on.
Yeah. As much as it's bad over here, at least it's not there. But no, like schools in the UK are not generally in a good place. Like there's a lot of underfunded budgets. So where you do have money, you have to make it go as far as possible. Having a laser, a pen plotter, and a 3D printer in one machine, that is a very attractive thing for like design and technology labs or engineering schools where they can't afford the big things anymore.
Right.
And if they're replacing equipment and they're like, what is the minimum needed to do an education module? So for those who don't know, the UK has a very strict education pipeline. Like it can't just be a school doing what they want whenever they want. Everything has to be ratified and then certified with education boards. And every board kind of has to agree to the same standard as well. So it's not like the good school versus the bad school, therefore your grades are very different. No, an A at one school will be an A at another school. So just keep that in mind. So when you've got this module, so you'll buy this module from an education board, so like AQA or EdXL or whatever. They will say what you need to do for your students to be able to take the test. And when they take the test, they will get their qualification from these education boards. They don't necessarily say what equipment you need, just what you need to do. So like if you're doing DT, for me example, when I did it, oh God, over a decade ago, almost 2 decades now. Oh, I don't like that. We had some choices. I chose design technology, and in that I had to make a diorama for a model train set because I like model trains. Surprise, surprise! I got into 3D printing. Model trains are quite similar. And part of that was laser cutting, was a requirement to get that course. So we had to do architectural design, print on card, like texture on it, cut it out, turn it into an actual sellable item. Laser cutting was a mandatory part of that coarse. Now, I was lucky. We had a big laser cutter, like 2.4 meter laser cutter. I did all my stuff on that. But they don't say you have to use that. They just say you have to be proficient enough to use a laser to make a part with acceptable quality. So this H2D fills that requirement. They never said how big the part needs to be or the quality. It just needs to roughly cut the part, do the job, get the qualification.
And it fills
So all of a sudden, for sub $3,000, you've got one piece of equipment doing the entire thing for an exam course.
And ultimately, Bambu doesn't care if you don't know how to clean the machine. If you don't know how to clean the machine and you destroy a bearing, great. You're buying a new machine, you're buying new parts, whatever it is. So like from a company standpoint, the laser, that's the best financial decision they could have ever made. Because it's going to create issues with the machine. Karen was in Wexter's Discord talking about, how do I deal with the fumes? And Bambu has a fume extraction system. It's not available yet for sale. And as a lot of us said, it will filter out 99.9% ish of the smell. That 0.1 is still absolutely atrocious. Atrocious. Especially when you're cutting things like leather. Ladies, gentlemen, if that happens to be your prerogative, have you ever straightened or curled your hair and you leave it in the straightener or curler too long and it burns and you know that smell? You've ever accidentally lit your arm hair on fire because you were playing with a torch a little too close to yourself? Like, have you ever burned hair? That is what burning leather, like lasering leather, smells like. 99.9% still means there's 0.1% of that foul smell that will stink up your entire garage, your shop, your home, whatever. And now the spousal approval factor goes through the floor. Because now all of a sudden the house smells like you've been burning hair in it and no one likes that smell, right? I look at it and say, if you're gonna do it, make sure you're ready to clean it. And there are people that are very neurotic about cleaning their machines, and they'll be perfect for this. Perfect for this. Then there are going to be ones that won't. And then they're the perfect customer because the machine's going to break. And it'll be interesting to see what warranty claims look like and how Bambu is going to handle warranty claims for people that didn't do the cleaning. Because on Bambu's own wiki, after 40 hours of cleaning, the images, or 40 hours of lasering, the images are ridiculous. With how
they're so
dirty.
bad they make you not want to buy the machine.
Right. It's like,
I'm surprised they even put them up, and they instead only did 10 hours and then put those pictures up. Because if those are legitimately 40 hours,
they are.
If anyone's ever tried to paint a house and the previous tenant was like a heavy smoker, it looks worse.
It's sticky.
Like, this is worse.
Yeah, the wood fiber and the wood dust, it's sticky. It's not just gonna fall off the machine. It is sticky. And you don't understand, man. It's like, as someone that owns a dedicated laser, oh my God, it's sticky. And
the thing that will ruin you, if you've never cleaned laser deposit before, you go to wipe it, it cleans. You go to wipe a second bit, you've just smudged it everywhere because you can only use that part once. It coats everything. It is basically smoker's lung of this printer.
Yep. And
you are going to experience it firsthand. Which is why I'm so surprised they showed it off, because it looks awful.
I agree. There were better ways. Like, I'm glad they show how to clean it and what to clean, but with a better extraction system, with a better fume extraction system, it wouldn't get anywhere near as dirty. No. You need a very, very strong fume extraction system. Like, my laser came with one of those big snail blowers, runs like 800 watts or some crap. I replaced it with definitely grow house fans for tomatoes. And it draws 140 watts now. It doesn't have as much static pressure, so it's not as good. But if you give it enough airflow, you can pull the junk away from the bearing surfaces, and they don't get too clogged up. With a good enough air assist system as well. You can blow away the crap so it doesn't float up and get stuck to the metal rails.
Yep.
And it does not appear that that machine has it.
So
Shane
to put in
Christensen with the $20
perspective,
saying, let's hit the goal. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated.
to put in perspective, the level of cleaning that you are expecting to do. So I've got hotkeys on my mouse. I've pressed one. I've put the link to the maintenance in the chat. I'm now just going to scroll at regular. Like, I don't have super speed scroll, just regular scroll. I'm going to scroll through their website, and you're going to see me how fast I scroll. And I'll tell you when I get to the bottom. Oh, wait, I need to actually click on the page. That would help.
That'd be useful.
There we go. So I'm starting now.
As Jacob is doing that, Georges with the $2, CHF $2, saying to keep the streams ad-free. Thank you very much, sir. Greatly appreciated.
Still going.
This is for the cleaning?
Yep, still going.
Oh, dear Lord, have mercy.
3/4 of the way through. 80%. Done. That's how many images. How many individual steps. There are so many steps. It is insane. And it's not just, clean surfaces. They're asking you to strip the parts because it's inside the parts.
It's what you should do, to be clear.
Yeah. Like, if you're doing this for an industrial case or like a business, this is what you're doing like at the end of a work shift or at the end of a week-long shift.
Yeah, you're doing it every week. And you should be.
That's part of the job. But they're not selling this as a massive industrial machine where you are expected to do regular maintenance. This is 40 hours. So this is, let's call it 3 days of printing or lasering. That's not much.
No.
And for the level of cleaning, I'm looking at these pictures. There's probably an hour of cleaning minimum.
Oh, easy.
The fact that you're stripping, the fact that they're asking you to take parts off the machine and go to a sink is going to increase that time a lot. Like, if I was doing this in a factory, this is maybe an hour and a half. And I have all the stuff there to clean it. If you're doing this at home and you have to go to a bathroom and come back or go to the sink and come back, I'm going to say 2 hours, 3 hours to like clean everything. If you're doing it properly to the level they're saying you need to do it to.
Interestingly, like I actually don't think the home users are going to do it as much, and like, you know, gone too long. So I don't get why everyone is fixated over the laser, as it's not mandatory nor affects the base model, and does not require it. It's because it's
because they announced it.
Yeah, it's
a stupid decision,
and you can't buy the base machine. You have to buy combos right now. Unless they've unlocked your ability to just buy the raw machine on its own. You've had to buy combos, and that's not always what people want.
And I'm not sure if you were here earlier in the stream, but we basically agreed, like, the machine itself, like the printer side without the laser,
it's
probably the hottest machine on the market at the moment.
That whole
and then it feels weird, like the laser.
That calibration plate, dude.
Oh yeah.
And hey, laser fumes, by the way. Let's not forget all the cameras and sensors inside of this machine that are going to get caked up as well.
I'm actually really dreading, because I realized something. I have a water bottle over there that's PTFE coated. How long do you think it will take until somebody tries to laser etch on a water bottle, because people do it all the time, and they accidentally pick up a PTFE coated water bottle, and then they create neurotoxins in their home that no filter is going to filter?
A little
because they've
neurotoxin
lasered
never hurt
PTFE.
anybody. Wait.
We've all played Portal 2. We know that's okay.
Yeah. Never trust
Little exposure, good.
The cake is alive. DevMiner says we need a wash and cure station for the H2D. Yeah. You know what? That would actually be kind of brilliant if Bambu did like a dedicated wash system. That would be
damn. Yeah, I bet you could get away with just like a little electric steam gun. That would do quite a lot.
Yeah, there's someone saying like a little electric steamer. Yeah, there is, but you got to be careful with the water.
Mineral water, and then all the dirt from the laser will make it not mineral water, and then it will still do the same damage.
Sip of Coffee said, did I see the Alarchi? Yeah, I talked with them for like 2.5 months in 2024 and then into 2025. And they told me there were no units left to send to us. And then they sent units to other people. This was after I told them that I have tons of experience printing in high temp materials, own multiple kilos of peak, pec, and ultem. So I have a feeling maybe they're afraid that I know what I'm doing with high temp stuff. I
Are
don't
we
know.
going to tangent into the Eliarchy? Because I've got things I could say.
No, we're not going to.
Good.
But they're
Good.
on my naughty list at the moment just because of the way they kind of handled all of that. They're like, oh yeah, we don't have any machines left over, and then I find out that other creators got machines well after I spoke with them. So
we'll probably do a
they're on my naughty
dedicated
list.
episode when their machine actually hits market, because their Kickstarter's not live yet.
Yeah, it was supposed to be.
When
they were
it
supposed
does,
to launch it on the 16th. They delayed it.
Actually, I'll double check just to make sure their Kickstarter isn't live now.
I know that they delayed it because they wanted to send us a printer, then they needed the video live by the 12th because they were going to launch the machine on the 16th on Kickstarter. I have that in writing.
But yeah, the TLDR for me, if you can't wait, is I found some stupid things in their video, and I don't like it very much because safety. That's the big thing, safety. And we'll see when their machine launches if they've changed anything, which I doubt they have. But it will be a very interesting video. If you think I hate Bambulab, which I don't, but if you think I hate Bambulab,
no,
wait
you're
until
on this
that video
channel.
comes out.
You're a certified bamboo hater now that you're on this channel. So,
oh, I think I've got a new machine I don't like the most.
View at your own risk with the 499 says PTFE off gases fluorine. How many fires will be started by the release of fluorine gas? A couple.
I want to know what the wires are made up inside the H2D, because the fluorine will start eating through a lot of them. And that is just going to be a recipe for disaster.
Dev Miner says how many people will get cancer because of it. It won't matter because by the time they have cancer, those machines will be gone and no one's going to remember it, right?
I mean, if you're dumping fluorine into your atmosphere regularly, you're not going to get cancer. You're just going to get dead. That's the answer.
Yeah.
Like, if you got cancer, you've lived long enough and you've not been doing enough. That's unfortunately the side effect of that.
Rook Talon's got something that I can tangent on for a bit. Do not print a bicycle helmet using your 3D printer, any 3D printer. It will not be safe. Before we get deep, apparently Bambu did get that one certified. They worked with the creator to get it certified to Chinese safety standards. But that was one helmet with very specific conditions in a very specific system, and Hacksmith and jerry rig everything. Shame on the both of you. Shame on the both of you for advertising that is even remotely possible. Hacksmith specifically, shame on you for showing that off. There are going to be people that do that. There are going to be people that end up falling and hitting their head, and there are going to be people that get hurt because of it. Shame on you. You guys should know better, especially those two creators that are big enough, that have dealt with things that will not only kill you, but will hurt the entire time you're dying. They should know better. They should absolutely know better. And the fact that they did that upsets me so much. There are so many things I could say about it, but it's just me taking a guess. And it all has to do with money. Shame on you guys for that. Anybody that advertises a 3D printer to be able to make safety gear, you're an idiot. Don't do it. Unless your machine is specifically certified to do it, you are operating under certified protocol. It is absolutely not safe. You will get hurt. Don't do it.
Like, Joel, look at me. Look at me right now. If you're watching this,
all right, I gotta calm down.
I've spoken to you. Like, you are interested in health and safety. We've sat down. We had good conversations. This might have just been a misstep, but it's bad. It doesn't come across very well. I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart to somebody who I really enjoyed getting along with. You need to retract that video. I don't care if it breaks whatever Bambulab contract you had.
His video too.
Oh no, I'm talking about Joel Hacksmith.
Oh, Hacksmith Joel. Sorry.
Yeah. It's a safety hazard. Like,
there
is no, even if you ignore Chinese safety standards, which actually are quite good.
Yeah, they're not bad.
But they can do it on individual parts. which is why they got it through on this. You cannot guarantee the 3D printed part that comes off that machine will be to the same safety standards. It is a massive, massive misstep. And I know you care about safety because I've talked to you. It's literally like 4 of the 5 things we talked about was how you do things safely. It just, you have to fix it.
Like,
somebody will watch your video because they love you and they will assume it's safe and they will overthink it and they might print it badly and then they will get hurt and you won't know because they're not big YouTuber that can contact you at any point. Just, we have to make it right. We have to make sure the industry is safe.
You don't want that pain, nor do you want that lawsuit on your hands, in my humble American opinion.
It's stupid. Like half of the UK is safety standards. Like it's why we spend so much time on, like from our side, doing safety standards. Most of my business outgoings was compliance testing and safety standards to make sure machines are safe, let alone the prints. There are no laws in the EU really for 3D printed parts. There's no laws in America for 3D printed parts. Like we don't even know how to certify prints yet. So when a company comes out and they say you can print a crash helmet, I have big problems with that. Because if the US government doesn't know how to certify parts for planes, where they've got infinite money and printing in peak, peck, and Ultim 24/7, then they can't say it for bloody bike helmets.
Yeah, don't print safety gear. Like, is the helmet itself a cool way to show off multi-material with the drag knife? Absolutely. But you know what? There are tons of other things that you could have done. Bamboo, that would have been a much better thing and wouldn't piss off people like me, right? I think the shoes are another one. Like, someone with a bad back, dude, a crappy pair of shoes is like just standing on needles all day. It hurts so bad. Like, yes, and there are companies out there that 3D print shoes. They have podiatrists working with them, right? Like, if you can 3D scan your foot and you understand podiatry and you understand how your gait is and what you need, by all means, have fun.
I have by all means orthotic insoles. I scanned a hard, rigid body. I went to a podiatrist. We looked at it. We increased the thickness and area because we made it in a softer material because for some reason the UK's insoles are hard plastic, so you can't bend your foot, which is kind of the part of how a foot works. So go figure. So we remade it in a softer plastic. We even then like printed it. We tested it for a year, and then we cast it out of silicon because then it was even more flexible and it lasts long. Like that is okay. Like that is a good use of 3D printing where it is literally bespoke to you or it's something that fixes a problem. But crappy 3D printed shoes is not that. Also, if you see a shoe that's printed and you can indent it with your thumbs in the sole, it is not dense enough for your body weight. That is maybe 20 kilos of force you digging your fingers in. You are not 20 kilos. You are much heavier than that, meaning those shoes will do nothing. And they will probably make it worse.
Here's what I'll say. I don't have an H2D, but if Bambu wants to send me one, which they're not going to, but if Bambu wants to send me one, I will print out the helmet, follow as stringent protocol as I possibly can, and I will bring it down to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a professional American football team who has won national championships. Present that to them and let them test it with their helmet testing equipment, where they test for CTE and all these other things. If it passes, I will issue a public retraction. I will issue a public retraction if it passes. But if it doesn't, I want the same. I want you to issue a public retraction. I want every creator that talked about the helmet to issue a public retraction. And I want Bambu to, take some basic level safety classes as to what you should do. There would be so many other cool things that you could do. I get that their intention was to show what is possible.
And I'll give it to them. They did it good. Like, they got it certified, which is the right thing to do. But somebody in your marketing team should have turned around and going, actually, just because you've done the legwork and we've got it certified and we can say ours is safe, you forgot that it's not yours is going to be the problem. It's
Make
going to
it.
be the person who's got a badly calibrated or like poor maintained machine with the wrong material. They're going to watch some random YouTuber that's watched another YouTuber, and it's going to slowly filter down until it's going to be misinformation at best, poor information at worst. And it's just going to get somebody hurt because they're going to be like, well, I broke my helmet last week. I will print another. And then that's the problem because it's the filtering of, well, Bamboo Labs website says it was certified because they did it their way. Oh well, I don't have that material, so I'm going to change it, and then I'm going to make my YouTube video,
Yep.
and then they're going to watch that, and then another person's going to watch that, and they're going to copy it, but then they're going to change like a little bit, or the size is going to be wrong, or
Yep.
their settings are going to be, and it's eventually, call it 3 years down the line, where that information is just so blurry because nobody really like tracks it. That's where the problems are going to be really obvious because all of a sudden the industry is going to go, oh yeah, you can print helmets, because that's all it's boiled down to, is you can print helmets, not the safety aspect, not the problems with it,
Yep.
not the materials. It's just the yay or nay binary. Can you print helmets? Yay, therefore it must be safe. And that's when it becomes not safe.
I completely agree. And like, I used to ride a lot. Okay, I've done thousands and thousands and thousands of miles on a bicycle. There are companies that make custom bike saddles. Posidia, they use carbon 3D printers to do it. The high speed clip technology
Yeah.
with resin, and they're fully custom, right? They're designed for your body. The bike saddle is the other issue. Like, if you hit a bump a little too hard and the saddle breaks, guess what's under the saddle, kids? There
I
is
hope you
a
don't clench.
there's a steel frame that is going to puncture right up into your ass. If you're lucky, you get skewered like a rotisserie chicken. If you're not lucky, you're going to get penetrated by the tube of your bike. And depending on, your particular flavor of pain and pleasure, you might enjoy that, but I'm going to assume the bulk of you won't. Don't be stupid. Spend money on real safety gear. There were many, many times where a helmet certainly saved me from a concussion. My brother's life was legitimately saved by a helmet. He broke his clavicle. He was an idiot on a bike ramp. And, yeah, hit a cop car in that entire situation, too, which was very
Oh my
funny.
God.
It was the neighbor was a cop, and the car was parked out front. But, I've fallen into manholes, like open manholes.
Mm.
You don't look if there's a cover. You're riding your bike. You're looking at what's in front of you. You assume there's a manhole cover. There wasn't. I flew off of my bike, and I landed on this arm. Road rash, broke my pinky finger, and my helmet was scraped down the side of it. When I got home, my finger was like this because it was swollen so much. My dad says, it's broken. Let's go to the emergency room. I'm telling you this is one of my funny personal stories from a kid when I was a kid. We go to the doctor. Oh yeah, it's broken. Here's splint. Put the splint on. It was the cops ramp too. Jonathan says. But we get home. We were getting groceries. I assume I was young enough that I don't exactly remember the whole story, but I remember that it was in the fall because the windows were open in the house. I'm going inside, and I go to close the door behind me, and the wind slams the door on my hand. On the splint. And the splint crushes the finger, and I am writhing in pain on the floor. I am screaming, and my father says the most dad answer. Well, I can tell you it's broken. And I'm like, I know! That's like a level 2 fun. I could look back at him like, yeah, that was kind of funny. It was terrible at the time. That was such a dad thing to say. I'm like, yep, no, that's my dad. And you know what? That's a very dad thing to say. I think other dads would do the same thing. But yeah, I don't effing 3D print safety gear. And I don't know if you've been reading the comments, but did you see Bondtech jumped in? Said, how about that Bondtech index? We already talked about it a little bit, and how we all kind of agree with Nero that the index is like ultra cool, but the H2D is really kind of overshadowed by its safety problems. And the index, it isn't.
No, index is great. We've already had the hotkey for the background. Just saying, like
Yep.
we can't get a stream yet without having just the index hotkey. Also, jump scare of me while I get the hotkey up. There we go, hotkey.
It's
There
got
we
the
go.
hotkey
Like,
for the index. All hail the index. And I
I
swear,
love the
Vontek,
index.
if you're still watching, if you don't do a kit for the SV08, you're out of your mind. If you're okay, they're still here. If your first conversion kit is not either for like the Trident, the 2.4, or for the SV08, you're out of your minds. The SVs, yeah, count on the SV08. Okay,
Yes.
there you go.
Well,
There
now
you
I can
go.
buy my £390 SV08 kit.
People want that in the chat. I don't know if you saw that.
I'll
None
put
of
it
them
in.
could find it.
Let me find the easy share button
And
because
yes, for all those saying that Jacob has to eat a benchy, we are working on that. I am working to get Jacob a chocolate benchy.
if not, I am willing to blend a benchy
No, you're
into a
not.
smoothie.
You are not willing to do that. You are
I
not.
already have enough microplastics
No,
in my
sir.
body. It can't be that
No,
worse.
So the same way that we do not condone, excuse me, the same way that we do not condone printing safety gear, we do not condone eating plastic. Victoria!
The link for the £390 SV08 is in the chat. I have had a quick look. Now, please verify it for yourself. But it does look like it's from the official Soval store.
Interesting.
But
404 for me.
so I checked for the US. It doesn't work on the US shipping
No, it
side.
doesn't.
Now, bearing in mind, I've never checked Soval's official store on AliExpress. This store where it's linked was made in 2024, August 22nd. So it's only 8 months old. Could be Soval, or it could be a clone calling themselves Soval.
Founders has the right idea. How about a full benchy cake? You have to eat the entire cake during the stream. The only way I will allow that if it is your mother's lemon cake that we had when we were visiting you all.
Oh, but I will get drunk on stream.
I say you'd be drunk as a skunk by the end of that stream because boy, that cake was good. His mother.
Clarification. It's not the official store, but you might get lucky. Okay. I just checked. Soval's official store is called Soval's official store, made in 2019.
Is it real or is it cake?
My mom does really good icing. Like you would not be able to tell it's a benchy until we cut through it.
No, man. The thing that she does well, this lemon bar cake that she made. Oh, look, we're tangenting to food again. Oh, we're on.
We were 0 days from talking about food on a stream.
Food tangents. Okay, so the thing we didn't expect when we were out filming with Construct is that every night we went back to their house and ate a home cooked meal. And look, as a fat kid, there is nothing that I love more than a home cooked meal. It was so good. I've never had like proper Malta food, but Jacob's family is all fully gluten free for health reasons, right? Your mother has like health issues with gluten. She baked this lemon cake that had, and I kid you not, a perfect layer of sugar on the top of it. Like it was sprinkled with sugar when the cake was still a little soft, so the sugar stuck to it. It was that layer of sugar was so flat, you could have probably built a Construct 3D on it. Now, it would have crushed the cake, but that layer, I can see why their printers are built to such a standard. Your mother can put a perfect layer of sugar on a cake, and it was a boozy cake. My God, it was a boozy cake. It was great though. I'm over here like I have never had gluten-free that tastes this good. It tasted so good. If you had not told me it was gluten-free, I would have had no idea.
So the funny thing is, so I'm not gluten-free anymore. I was lucky enough to grow out of it when I hit like 19. Mom didn't know it for like 2 years. I was awful. My story of getting out of being gluten-free, because I did have quite serious medical complications with gluten, was I used to have a little bit of a donut, literally like a finger pick, and I'd eat that. And I was like, oh, I wasn't ill tonight. and then 2 days
Did you
later I'd have a
Princess
little
Bride
bit more.
yourself?
No,
Or you
I
got
had
yourself
to.
used to the poison?
Literally, I had to, and I realized if I had too much, I would be horrendously ill. So I had to, like, over the course of a year, eat a little bit more of a donut, not the same donut, every single time.
I choose to believe it was the same donut, and you're not going to convince me otherwise. They're just
Um,
like, by the end of it, it's just like a solid, chunk of like concrete. You were micro dosing gluten.
I was microdosing. It was the only way I could fight. It was a weird feeling as well. Like if I had too much, it just felt like my entire body just shut down. It was a really weird
Yeah,
illness.
you were microdosing gluten, and your mother was basically freebasing sugar to us. It
So
was,
the the reason I
it was
bring it
so
up
good.
was the biggest disappointment I had once I started having gluten in my life again was I had my first cake. And I was like, oh, this is not as good as I thought it would be. My mom's cooking is better.
It's really good. It was some of the best. Now, look, do not ever trust my opinion on specifically cake because I absolutely adore yellow box cake. Like the Betty Crocker yellow cake out of the box with no icing. I love it
You're
so
mad.
much.
You are so
And
mad.
here in the South, and I'm going to put air quotes around South, we do cornbread, but it's very, very moist. It's like corn cake. My mother makes a corn casserole that will give you diabetes. It is amazing.
Ooh.
It will give you diabetes. But it's like I love cake, but I also love garbage cake. Your mother's cake was some of the best cake I've ever had. If I don't say that my mother's carrot cake is the best cake that I've ever had, she will grate my fingers into the next cake, okay?
So now we've
Hand
got to
grate
make you my
6
mum's
cups of
carrot
carrots to
cake.
do it.
Because my mum's carrot cake is next level.
I can't do it.
We've got to have a carrot cake off.
We gotta come up with a better name. That's a terrible name for it.
That is awful, but we got to do it now. We've got to create an international incident where my mum versus your mum are duking it out.
If we
And
can
both
get
of
them
us
in
aren't
like
sure
this,
what we can say.
how great would that live stream be? Where it's just like the two moms, or like the two sets of parents. It's a cook off. Now that would, could we get Gordon Ramsay to guest host it?
Knowing my mum and how she can just randomly grab very important people.
I just want him to
It's
yell
not
at
a
my
zero
mother
chance.
saying it's effing raw for no reason. That's really all that I want. But what happened to the Mother's Day stream? Jacob's mother has confirmed for Mother's Day this year.
Yeah.
So
Now, bear in mind, it is actually Mother's Day today in the UK.
Wait, shit!
But unfortunately, she is out at her mother's.
All right,
She's being a good child. Otherwise, I would have collared her and brought her in.
Yeah, all right. Well, I guess we'll do it for the U.S. Mother's Day, which means I need to figure out when that is. I didn't know it was Mother's Day today. Well, then I'm going to send your mother a message right now and wish her happy Mother's Day.
You can't tell her I said it was Mother's Day. She has to watch the stream to find out that I prompted you.
Well, the chat's also prompting me too.
Good chat.
Yeah, there. Text message sent.
Oh.
All right, let's move back to on topic here. So I want to talk about the engineering, specifically the camera systems that are in the H2D, because they've got this calibration plate. And it reminds me of my laser calibration plates.
So I've read mixed things on it.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what I believe because I've not seen anyone else talk about it other than a few people on a forum where that calibration plate is only for laser.
Is it?
I don't think it is though. Like it would be stupid.
No,
to have this amazing laser plate and only do it for the laser. Where in reality, you could use it on so much.
Yeah.
Like because it is a non-repeating like QR pattern, you get height information from it based on the amount of pixels for each pattern, you get all of the other stuff. Like there's loads of features that you gain, like even positional accuracy. Like I still don't understand Bambulab's claim of 50 micron positional accuracy, but just positional accuracy. You've basically made a pseudo closed loop measurement system using the camera in the bed.
Yeah, and that's freaking tremendous,
It's really
dude.
smart. I
Yeah.
actually love it.
I'm trying to find it. It's going to be under accessories, I assume.
Yeah, I'm looking for it as well.
Oh, excuse me.
It's one of these things that
Vision
it's
encoder. Yeah,
so
there it is.
cool, but I don't know where they're using it because nobody's talked about it. Like they've got one bit under 50 micron ultra fine motion accuracy, and that's it. Like, what does motion accuracy mean? Because there's so much you could do with that. I love it. I wish they expand on this, and I wish more people could look at this because that is honestly one of the most interesting things for me that nobody's talking about.
Yeah,
That and the eddy current sensor for nozzle positioning, insanely smart.
that is insanely smart. I agree.
Oh, that is insanely smart. Instead of putting it on the head for bed leveling, doing it for nozzle calibration. Oh, that took some math. That took some hard math.
Here are some things to deal with. Usage tips. The machine performance characteristics inevitably evolve due to temporal factors, operating usage patterns, and environmental influences. This progress manifests through mechanisms including ambient temperature fluctuations, structural micro deformalities from operational vibration or relocation, stress relaxation, and housing materials. Consequently, calibration efficacy exhibits progressive attenuation. Wow, that is a expensive sentence.
That is a word.
The degradation rate correlates directly with environmental severity and usage intensity parameters. For applications requiring high precision maintenance, we recommend implementing bi-weekly calibration protocols to ensure sustained measurement accuracy. It's
tramming.
It is only used for motion accuracy calibration and must not be used as a build plate.
It's a tramming plate.
Yeah, it is. It's a tramming plate. Which is amazing.
That's amazing. Like if anyone has bought Adam Vector 3D
the
Vector
cauliflower,
3D's
right?
cauliflower or Cali Lantern, like you know why you buy them, because not every machine, even us, we build them square, but we know once they're in place, you could put them on a non-flat surface and they will warp slightly. Like it doesn't matter. Like it's a very small amount, but they warp, and like you can tram the machine in. Like there's a reason why all G code and all like Clipper, RepRap and Marlin has separate commands for machine tramming, just so you measure it like with a Cali Lantern and you go, yep, it's off by this many percent. Normally it's like 1%, which is, to be honest, inconsequential to most people.
Yeah.
But it does matter if you're needing that like exact square part. This is going to do it for you. This scanning plate is really smart.
That damn scanning plate is like one of the main selling features for me for that machine. Like as a business, you're telling me that I can get specifically repeatable. So we do a lot of work for clients that involves multi-piece prints. But as a lot of you know, if you use multi machines to do it, they're not always going to align perfectly, because even like I've got a bank of Prusas, right? They're all not the same. They all have different accuracy variabilities. And well, yes, Eric Cedarberg, he's here hanging out, says Mark Forge had a calibration plate for years, though they used a machine plate for reference features that they measure with their LiDAR instead of a camera. Totally, I get it.
Basically the same thing, though.
Okay, but that Mark Forge machine is how much money?
Well, I think it starts at like 12 grand, and that's the cheap one without a heated bed.
Yeah, that's the Mark II, right?
Yeah.
When we start looking at like the X7, which has their black box built into it. Or no,
God,
blacksmith.
It's so expensive.
Blacksmith, where it's triangulating positioning and adjusting flow rates on the fly. Yeah, okay, it's like 100 grand. When you look at what Bambu has done, for me, it's like the thing that they're barely talking about. The calibration plate, the easy swap nozzles. And I know that was big in the A series as well, but the P and the X series haven't had that. Right?
And I will say, swappable nozzles does fix a lot of problems.
Yep.
Like if you've never gone to a swappable nozzle, you probably don't care because you've not experienced it. But it is one of those things that once you realize how nice it is to have, you kind of don't want to go back. Like you will if there's a benefit, but it is very nice. Like we use CHT Volcano nozzles. They're swappable, but you have to use tools. I'm fine with that. But it's an extra step that a lot of customers aren't happy with. If you just have a single latch, you take part off, put it on, anyone can do that. You don't even need to train. Like you've got a latch that's obvious. They look at it, go, yes, I understand. That saves so much time, so much complexity. It is a nice to have. That is more than just it's an engineer that like to have a quick change nozzle. It is actually an upgrade.
Yep.
And eventually we will probably see a lot more blocks coming with just quick change nozzle systems because people are cluing on. It's faster, it's better, it's easier for reliability. If you get a blob of doom, just attach the nozzle with the blob. You don't care anymore. Like you don't need to strip everything, worry about ripping wires out. Just done.
Yep.
It's nice.
Something else to point out, I was looking because they listed some laser protective goggles, and I'm like, oh, let me see. For laser wavelengths ranging from 200 to 450 nanometer, the H2D is 450 nanometer blue. The protection level is OD5+, meaning the laser power transmitted through the lenses is reduced to 100,000th the original power. For laser wavelengths ranging from 900 to 1100 nanometers, primarily infrared light, the protection level reaches OD6+, indicating the laser power transmitted through the lenses is reduced to 1/millionth the original power, significantly reducing glare after filtration. So, bonus nachos for Bambu for actually using, OD rated glasses in their they're $40, which is a reasonable price point.
That's good. That's actually quite reasonable.
Because I am kind of worried that the green that they're using on their machine is not rated, but if their glasses are rated, a boy can hope.
They're probably getting them from the same source. Now,
yeah, it would make sense.
I will take that with a grain of salt. Unless they actually have a rating on the side, I don't personally trust anything. Again, trust but verify. So maybe we need to wait until somebody puts a little laser dosimeter behind it and shines a laser at it to give us an actual number. But I wouldn't put it past Bambulab. They're not stupid enough to half-ass something like that.
Where is it?
Something that is so easily checkable as well. Like it does not take 100 quid to get one of these little testing devices to see the power output of a 405 to 450 nanometer laser. So I bet it wouldn't take long.
I've got a pretty serious blue laser, but also literally within reach, I have some rated laser glasses, and these are UV. So these are OD6+, 200 to 2000 nanometer.
Oh, those are broad spectrum.
Yes. Yep.
And that's what you're paying for as well. Like
these
that
were
broad
not
spectrum.
expensive.
Like, really?
$40. My real ones are out in the garage. Yeah, these are free. So these are the free
every
mascot
set I've had
brand.
are 200 to 400 bucks each.
I have
every single set I've had.
I've got I do have Thor Labs glasses out in the garage where the lasers are. But these are like my quick grab and go pair. Yeah, free mascot was recommended to me by the Lightburn guys. That's what they recommend. And yes, Eric says 200 to 2000 nanometer OD6. Yes.
Yeah. So OD6, there was someone in the chat.
6 orders of magnitude.
It's 6 orders of magnitude less light transmission for that specific wavelength. Or it's 6 plus 1. It's n plus 1 maybe. 10 to the 7 or 10 to the 6.
I can go get my real Thor.
There's lots of zeros. That's the important. It reduces danger by lots of zeros.
Eric says, wouldn't that be a piece of opaque black plastic? No, it's very dark green. Like, it's very dark green. And
because it's only cutting those wavelengths. That's the thing.
And the cool thing is, well, 2000 nanometers pretty high up there.
It's pretty far.
when I use those to look at like the 10-watt laser uh from the X-Tool F1, it is a barely visible gray dot. Barely visible. Like, it is insane how well it filters it out. But yeah, like, I can barely see anything through it otherwise. So.
David Connor saying welding glass. No, welding glass is not suitable. It will do better than nothing, but so does safety squints do better than nothing, and they're in the same category of not good enough. Don't do safety squints when it comes around lasers as much as you might be tempted to.
It's funny because like I was looking for my
welding
UV
glass
laser.
Does not work.
I normally keep a UV laser in here. I use it for curing resin parts. It might have just rolled underneath a machine. I can check real quick. But is it? Nope, it did not roll under a machine. Nope. Okay, guys, I was literally going to show how if you shine it through, nothing comes out the other side.
Mike Jones asking, melting is burning too, just lower intensity. You're right, but you're also wrong. And the reason being
for
is
lasers,
450 nanometer is a type of wavelength that isn't readily absorbed by thermoplastics. So normally what you need to do to melt or etch, so it's specifically etch, is you need to overcome a energy boundary. So there's like two little peaks of energy boundaries. The first one is enough for it to absorb and then start melting. And then the second one is it to absorb so much, it instantly vaporizes. The problem with 450 to 405 nanometer is you generally don't have the power density for it to absorb and burn instead of it just instantly melting. So you either bounce it off. If there's any titanium dioxide, it will just bounce off and it won't really do anything in the first place. And even if it's a jet black, you won't etch. You'll just like melt the surface, which could be a benefit to some people. But if you've ever tried lasering on 3D prints, you will just get this weird melty disappointment of a laser line. And it doesn't work. And we've tried up to like 60-watt lasers.
It depends on the frequency. Or, yes.
So, yeah.
The wavelength.
Yeah, it's all the wavelength. If you go to like 100 nanometer wavelength, or even 1,000 nanometer, specifically the higher wavelength, so 1,000,
infrared
which
does
is CO2.
Great.
Infrared does great.
Yeah.
CO2 does great. Very long wavelength is absorbed much more readily, meaning you can put that energy faster into the part, and before it melts and then changes its absorption index, it's absorbed enough to instantly vaporize. And that's the main thing, is plastic, the absorption index does change as it melts. So if you're not doing it fast enough, you physically can't burn it because it will just keep changing it until it stops absorbing and just takes a bit of heat. Lasers are fun until they're not, and then it gets boring very quickly.
I will be curious to see longevity of this machine. So, Bambu's moved away from the carbon rods and the bushings, and now they've moved into, regular linear slides like we're used to, like MGN 12s, MGN 15s, right?
I'm not sure that's a smart idea. I was thinking about it last night, and it comes to the same reason we don't use linear rails on all of our axes. Dust particulate on linear rails mandatory requires you to change that lubrication regularly. Now, with 3D printers is
Prusa's got
a couple of months.
I mean,
but for a laser system, that's a daily job now.
So my big CO2 laser, the X and Y are both linear, are linear. So
does yours have wipers on the linear rail though?
No.
Really? Do you have like the plastic end caps on the carriage?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So at least you've got a lot of 3D printer linear rails don't have the plastic wipers.
There's a trick to it though. The rails are on the top side.
Ooh.
Because where does everything collect? It collects on the bottom of things.
Yeah.
So the rails don't get all that dirty because it would have to come up and then settle down. The fact that Bambu put their rail on the side,
it's going to collect at the bottom. It's going to settle on the top.
Not even the laser. I'm looking at like the dross and VOC from ABS. Now, thankfully...
No, but that's a thing. We deal with that. Like our linear rails on the side, we have to tell certain customers where they're like, we're going to be printing in this material. I'm like, okay, we ship our machines without lubrication on the rail. Most people don't need lubrication because once you add lubrication, you need to change it at regular intervals. If you're in a dry area, don't lube it. But if you're in a moist area or you're printing in ABS, in PET, not PETG, but PET, or anything with a carbon fiber content, you need to grease that rail because it will protect it. But then you need to be changing that depending on how many kilos of material you use, because the VOCs that comes off will gum it up.
Yep.
And if you're doing anything with carbon on it, it will also galvanically corrode the ball bearings. And that is a bigger issue than you want to deal with. Trust me on that. I've spent way too long trying to source like the issues in the first place. You do not want to change those rails. Maintain them for as long as possible, but it will be painful.
Anyone that has ever taken an MGN 12 carriage off and had like the balls fall out of it, you know, you don't ever want to play 52 pickup with little tiny ball bearings again that are now covered in 18,000 types of garbage that they've picked up from your floor. Yeah.
Also, make sure if your rail has a preload, which most of these rails will have, they'll normally be V1 preload or Z1 preload. If you've got a preload, you do not want to lose that 1 or 2 ball bearings that are oversized, because they give the preload to the entire rail. If you lose that, your rail is just going to be floppy on the entire thing. And that is not good, because you now need to start measuring each individual bearing to find which one is which, so you can put it in the right place. I would not ask that on my worst enemy. It is not worth it. Like, I literally would not want that on my worst enemy. It is such a painful thing.
Yep. Yeah, it's not fun. TLDR,
yep.
Not fun. So the rest of it, I will say though, as far as Bambu goes, this machine appears to be more user serviceable.
Scary, but yeah, I agree with that.
And like, I'm happy about that, but I shouldn't be, because it should be the standard. But I'm happy because traditionally it hasn't been. And as FJ Princess, just buy a new carriage. I totally agree.
That's what I would do.
I am of the opinion
actually,
that as my smooth rods wear, I turn them. So if it's gonna wear, let it wear another flat spot. Turn it again, wear another flat spot. I don't care.
That is fair.
Once you've started, like, I would rather let it put a bunch of flat spots in as I'm having to turn it every now and then and have to take it apart once, than to take it apart every couple of months to repack it with grease. It is cheaper for a business because my time is the most valuable thing that I have. If I'm going to take apart the printer, I'm just going to replace the parts. I am not going to re-grease them. I am going to take them apart and I'm going to replace them straight up because that is better for me. It makes more sense. Right.
Now, I will say there is a caveat. Linear rails are a bit different to linear slides. So like your smooth rods.
I thought I heard something, and then Amber came around the corner and scared the ever-loving shit out of me. Oh my god!
Grant gets broken into live on stream. Oh, hi Victoria.
We don't want Grant to get broken into live on stream.
You've killed it.
Yeah, we're good.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, I heard rustling. I'm like, oh, it must be the cat. And then it is the cat, but it's being carried by human.
There's cat.
Okay. You can just put it on.
Be careful.
Hi. Whoa, she got her, we clipped her nails yesterday. Oh.
I figured
Victoria, we reached 50,000 and it's 100% because of you.
She's upset because I vacuumed.
Oh, yeah, that will make sense. I'm not tightly wound. I just wasn't expecting it. Oh, what a good little baby.
Fun fact.
But yeah, the big issue that I have with linear rails is you have to change the rail when you change the carriage.
Yes.
Because a lot of them are matched. That's the big one. So if you think about you're just going to change the carriage, don't. Change it with the rail. It's worth it. It's not worth getting a mismatched rail to carriage because it doesn't work. I'm so jealous of Victoria right now. I just want to be like, ooh.
Yeah, she doesn't have a care to give in this world.
Oh.
So I'll tell a little Victoria story here. Yep, there she goes. So we knew we had to trim her nails, which I don't do very often. She does a pretty good job of just like breaking them when she scratches, right? So it works. Cause she's got plenty of places throughout the house that she can scratch on, right? Like crappy like storage ottomans that were like $10, scratch them. I don't care. But like the regular furniture, she knows not to scratch. Her tree, which we custom built, which we're gonna be redoing. That's gonna be a big video series. She was playing with her tail. She likes to chase her tail, and she'll swat at it. Well, she swat at it, and one of her nails dug into her tail, and she got caught. And so I hear a cat screaming, and if you know what a cat's screaming sounds like,
It's not a good
it will
sound.
wake the dead. And so I'm like, what's going on? And she's spinning in circles, screaming, and then hissing, and then screaming, spinning in a circle. And I'm like, oh God, this is bad. So like I'm trying to get her to stop so I can grab her by the scruff of her neck, because that's like the off button for cats. You grab them by like the scruff of their neck. And I finally get it. And then she starts trying to attack me. Because again, she's in pain. She doesn't know any better. And then finally I just kind of I pull up on her paw and it releases from her tail, and she's like instantly better. I'm like, oh God, okay. Thought this was gonna be really bad here. Cause like I didn't know what to do. I'm like, all right, I guess it's time to get the nail clippers out. You haven't taken care of it yourself. We gotta do it for you. So yep, we did it last night. Cause we just feed the cat churu at the same time that like it's a 2-person job. So one has to distract her with her favorite food, and then the other one has to go through and do the nail clipping. So yeah. Anyways, cat. Merch available very soon. But yeah, I think if you're just gonna replace it, replace the carriage and replace the rail. There's no reason to replace just one, because like if you're just gonna replace the carriage, it's kind of dumb.
Yeah,
you got to take it all off anyways, so just replace the damn rail too. They're not expensive. Good ones are not expensive. Prusa uses THK. Enjoy.
we use KTN. Enjoy.
Yeah. The vast majority of linear rails that you can buy right now, whether LM8 you use, LM12s, even the MGN style, by and large, they are all well within spec that you would ever need for a 3D printer.
Oh, massively. Like
Yeah.
I have seen carriages using MGN9 style carriages at 5 meters per second on injection molding machines. They can be abused for years if they're taken care of right.
Yep. And Matt's Makerspace said, just ordered an SV08 and it's all Bontech's fault. I would love to see... I should probably start putting my Silval affiliate link in the description. I would love to see how the SV08 sales are impacted by Bontech releasing the kit for the index for the SV08. That'd be super
I would love to see an official collaboration, like an actual like advert being made with Bontech and Soval.
It would be smart.
Because that would be nice. It would be really smart. Like Soval have to do basically nothing. Bontech has to just integrate it into a Soval, and then all of a sudden it's free money for both of them.
You know who else needs to integrate directly with the Bontech index? Yes. And Jacob, it would excuse me. It would absolutely, it would behoove you guys, because you're a smaller company, you have the resources to be able to work directly engineer to engineer to get this in place and have it be one of the show machines for it. Because the index, while it does have a lot of value to consumers, the huge value is in business. Dude, like if I can have dedicated heads just for carbon fiber and that's it, and I don't have to change out nozzles, it's a dedicated tool head that all it does is carbon fiber. That'd be great.
Is it bad to say I was actually considering 2 days ago delaying the release of Construct 2 just to see if we need to complete pivot for the index?
I think it is within your best interest to reach out to Bontech as soon as humanly possible. get an NDA signed and start and start communicating. So
that's for anyone watching, that's how much I value the index already, just from one video and looking at it. As a business, I was considering putting months, right? It's almost 8 months worth of personal work on complete hold to go, we might need to pivot. That's a big decision for a business. That's how interesting this technology is to me.
Give me high temp printer with an index. Oh, baby, baby. Right? Something like, because like the 22 IDEX from Vision Miner's $16,000. I could get the Construct 2, right around 10 grand US, give or take, add an index onto it for another $1,000. And now I have a 9 or so tool head tool changer.
Yep.
Yeah. Done.
And bear in mind, we already have sales of Construct 2. Like, I can't say where because we've signed documents saying we can't say where, but just for me saying that should tell you, like, these are people that aren't willing to wait. And I was considering just picking up the phone, the thing that I do not like doing, and going, hey, you're going to want to wait.
Well, so what you can do is you can offer the machine with a single head and then just do an index upgrade kit later on.
They were actually willing to get an unfinished machine.
Well,
they were that gunning for it. Was, hey, we know it's unfinished. Just send us what you've got at the moment, and if you upgrade anything, just tell us and we'll do it.
This is a bit of unsolicited advice for people out there who are building 3D printers for a business. If you do see something like the index and you're like, I want to throw everything I've done out the window and start over with this. No. Go to market. Get it out. Get your printer out there and start immediately working on the upgrade kit. What you can do is for your first ones that get shipped out with single heads, give them the upgrade kit for free. Give it to them for free. You'll lose money. Give it to them for free. Because what happens is now you've shown them your commitment to long-term stability of the product without having to sacrifice a delivery date. And you end up being the good guy rather than, oh, you had to delay. Jacob, another tab infusion. Just work on it in there, right? I firmly believe that's the right way to do it because it like you don't want a Prusa XL scenario.
No, I don't want to be waiting.
Where you're
years.
waiting. Like I was a day one pre-order for the XL. Day one. I waited 2 years for that machine. I lost tens of thousands of dollars of print jobs that would have been perfect for that machine because we didn't have it. As soon as I got it, some of those jobs came back, a lot of them didn't. And we were able to pay for that machine within, I think it was 2 or 3 days of owning it. It was very little time we were able to pay for it. When it was up and running and reliable and all of that. Once we confirmed that we can run it in the business, it only took a couple of days for it to pay for itself. So like the machine owes me nothing now. I can sit there and idle all day. I don't care. But as a business, I would have rather seen Prusa come out with a single toolhead XL. Say, we're still working on it, but we want to get you guys the single. When the 5 is ready, we'll send you all the pieces to give you the upgrade.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't do that. With how Prusa loves the upgrade path, like everything's an upgrade path in Prusa. I'm surprised they didn't do that from the start, going like, hey, here's the timeline, here's the upgrade path, because it fits with what they do.
Even if I would have had to pay the difference in price, I would have said, okay, give it to me now. I'll take a 1 to 1. I need bigger. I bought a Fusion 3 F410 because the XL wasn't ready. I bought a $5,000 printer because I needed the build volume. Because that was back when we didn't have machines like the SV08 and the Q1 and the Plus 4 from Cheedy and like all these other large format printers. We didn't have those. You were limited to spending thousands of dollars to get big machines that were reasonably reliable. I could go get a CR10, but no. It's like I spent that money because I needed the build volume. So, yeah.
Dreams Void with the question of get the Construct 2 out the door. The 3 can have the index. No, the 3's got the MISO hot end. The 3 is specifically multiple input, single output. The entire machine is being designed around 300 cubic millimeters per second of flow and higher. Though I'm also tempted to make an upgrade kit for that so we can give it to, as Elf just put in the chat, the Orange Storm Giga. because that thing needs more flow rate.
I do want to see someone put an index on a Giga just to see how many tools they could put on an Ordstorm Giga. For no other reason than because we can. I just want to see that happen.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, I have no practical reason for it other than F it.
It'll be fun.
It would be fun.
It'll be really cool.
And it would
You
probably
gotta admit.
solve a lot of the problems. But how do you feel about Bambu not putting a high flow nozzle on the H2D and you have to buy it spare? How do
I don't
we
like
feel
it.
about Bambu making their own high flow instead of
Okay.
using Bondtech?
I am split. I think we should, as an industry, just support the companies that do innovation. So I personally buy Bondtech CHT nozzles. Like, I buy the most expensive ones because for me, giving the customer the best out of the box so they never have to consider it is fine. Like, I don't care about saving literally 20 quid on a nozzle. If you're spending $3,000 on
It's a
a Concept One
$3,000 printer. Who
XL,
cares?
you're adding literally 0.001% of the price tag to it. You don't care.
No.
Which makes it very interesting. I would have assumed Bambu would have put the high flow as the default. And I can't figure out why they wouldn't. Because if they've gone to all the effort of developing a high flow, and they've gone to all the effort of developing, it's a new ecosystem entirely because it's a longer version of the A series of nozzle, they've done both. And unless there is a reason, which I can't figure out yet, because at first I was like, is it for carbon fiber? Well, not really, because CHT already is identified it's not the blades that erode with carbon fiber, it's the nozzle tip because it acts like sandpaper. The actual like laminar flow in the nozzle doesn't really erode that much. Now, I know Fatus with their Dragon hot ends when they were prototyping, if you made the same stainless steel heat break too thin, it would erode through
It would
that.
erode, yeah, yep.
But that's because it was 0.1 millimeters at most. That is nothing. That is like a breathe of the thinnest material you could imagine. That would erode no matter what you do. But these aren't 0.1 mil thick blades. These are like anti-blades. They're squeezing parts. They're not cutting. So there is going to be a bit of a pressure buildup, but that isn't going to degrade. Like, not in the same way that a blade would, because you have a sharp edge. This is a pressure thing. So I don't know why they didn't give it standard. MLV in the chat going, is the high flow hardened? It doesn't have to be. So the squeezing bit in the high flow works because it's pressure and because it's laminar. It doesn't need to be a hardened insert to still do the same job and survive. Like, if you've used a regular CHT nozzle, which is just brass with carbon fiber, your tip will erode 1,000 times faster than the blades will, even though the blades are direct in contact with carbon filament.
Yeah, they're not dragging across the print, which is where it tends to erode. Yeah,
it is an odd decision, and I haven't figured out yet why. I haven't figured the logic out. Now, we can't ever determine what their decision was, because it could be just a personal decision. It could be a marketing thing for make the machine cheaper by 10 quid.
They've cut E3D at it. So what they've done is they've cut E3D, Slice, what?
Hell, even Big Tree, they've
Tech,
cut them out.
They've been cut out. Bambu said, actually, we really like what you're doing, but we're going to do it, and we're going to do it for less. And, like, it upsets me, man.
It doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah.
Like, I've built my entire company around buying E3D extruders, Bondtech nozzles. The only thing we really get custom is we don't buy E3D's titanium heat break because they're overpriced for titanium. It's just a heat break. And the copper block, because I can just get copper at dirt cheap prices versus just a laser engraved one. That's the only thing we get custom. But we support E3D. We support their development. We support their extruder line because we know it's very good, and we support their quality control. They've done the innovation for how to make the extruder the best. We support Bondtech because they did the innovation for the high flow. I'm not entirely happy with
E3D.
I'm not happy with Bambulab going off on their own. Obviously getting around the patent by changing the style. Now, I still have an open question, which is, I believe Bontek's patent also includes inserts. Doesn't matter how it cuts. I believe it's insert for flow rate inclusion was some of the wording in the patent. But we know they're not going to go after it because it's Bambulab, and it's just everyone loses in that situation. You're going to spend a load of money, and Bambulab are going to do it anyway. So there's no point in defending it.
And the worst part is,
feel scummy.
If Bontek is in the right and they go after Bamboo, Bontek's going to be the bad guy.
Yep.
The same way that Stratasys is the bad guy to everybody. And while I get it, Stratasys does some patent trolling in this industry, they're not technically the bad guy there. They're not technically the bad guy.
Ask any hobbyist that's been in this industry for a while what their stance on slice engineering and patents are.
Yep.
And you'll probably get the same, oh, they're just bad at it. Hell, I still have that mindset of, oh, they're bad when it comes to... They're in the right. They're the good guys in every scenario when they've sued somebody. Yeah, the wording they've used might have been a bit aggressive, or they might have been a bit petty on some areas, but that doesn't mean they're wrong. They're still right.
Now, and if you're mad at Slice, it's not Slice's fault. Be mad at the USPTO, the US Patent and Trademark Office, for how they handle this kind of stuff. And we've had actual effing patent attorneys on this show many times. And we talk about the same thing always of how the USPTO just isn't great. And they allow things like a broad patent that Slice may or may not have to be enforceable. Right? So I guess I'm upset because Bamboo has the opportunity to extend an olive branch to this community over and over and over. And their collaborations with Diamondback, with E3D, with Slice, and all these other companies is awesome. That is a huge benefit to this community as a whole.
I remember when E3D spent months talking with Bontek because they didn't want to get around the patent. Like, I spoke with some of the people at E3D and they were like, yeah, we've got lawyers. We know how to break the patent and get away with it because we've got lawyers.
But we don't want
patents
to.
Can be broken. We want to work with Bontek because
Right.
they're a good guy. We're a good guy. It makes the industry better for both of us. We could earn a little bit more money if we did it our way.
And
But
so
we're
what's
not going
happened
to.
here? Bamboo just kicked everybody in the balls, right? They're like, oh, yeah, F it. Now, what they've done for the consumer, because at the end of the day, the consumer doesn't care because the price is lower for the consumer. The consumer, instead of paying $85 for something like this, can now pay $50. And so to the average consumer, they don't care because they don't understand the economic implications of it as it refers to other businesses, because the average consumer doesn't care. Love it or hate it, they just don't care. They want the cheapest price possible, and that's why you shop at Amazon rather than going to a local small business where you could buy it instead.
And I am a bit concerned about what it means for the broader industry now. If Bambulab have, and now I don't know this, I don't know if they've patented in China their way of high flow. I don't think they would have, but they probably have.
I assume they have. If they haven't, they will. There's no reason not to.
If they haven't, then it does basically destroy Bontek's patent, because now every Chinese company is going to be making their own high flow variant similar to how Bambulab, which is just an insert that instead of cutting the filament, it squeezes the filament. Now, there is other like hints in the market that it isn't a patented thing, because you will probably have to correct me on the name. Is it E2D? The Swiss guy that was at Smurf that I can't remember his name of his company. 3D Lac.
Right?
Like,
Swiss 3DC. Excuse me, Swiss 3DC.
Swiss 3DC. 3DC, that's it. Swiss 3DC. They have a very interesting, like, quick change nozzle, but their high flow is they squeezed the tube. It's a squeeze. And that gets around Bontek's patent, and they can do that. So I would be very interested to see what happens with Bambulab's one, because they've basically done the same thing. They have a squeeze instead of a cut. And we do have now prior art, which is Swiss 3DC has squeeze instead of cut. This might actually mean we get, for the community, much cheaper high flow hot ends that work. Because as much as I hate to say it, the high flow from Mellow and Triangle Lab and all the ones where they have just this push fit slug, they don't really work as well as you'd expect. They do work, but there's a lot of pressure build up and a lot of like eddy pressure, and it doesn't give you the same quality of extrusion whilst you do get the same flow rate. This probably fixes that. And we might just start seeing a lot of new nozzle designs coming out with this, which is going to close the gap between the cheap and the expensive machines, because everyone's going to have high flow, which to be fair was probably going to happen eventually once patents ran out. It's just a superior way. But it doesn't sit right with me. Like Diamondback, for example, with how much they're definitely not developing a high flow nozzle. They've probably gone through so much iteration, talked with Bontech to get the patent licensing, worked with the this is all speculation, I should say. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know the behind the scenes. But they could have just gone off on their own and done this. And it's kind of a bit of bad faith for every other actor in the industry, where Bambulab have come out and they've gone, no, we've just done it. And they've basically
they're just
destroyed. Yeah, I don't know how Bontech is going to defend their patent anymore to anyone else.
Yeah.
When anyone else is going to go, well, we have to buy Bontech's patent, or we just don't.
Or we just do what Bambu does.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that will still be seen. And I'm going to be clear with you guys. Don't ask Bontech about it. Don't ask Bambu about it. If there is anything occurring, neither company can discuss it until it is public. And like some of the people in the Bontech Discord server, my God, y'all need to take an effing chill pill. The way that they're just like, you need to tell us these things. I'm like, how about you just let them say it whenever they want? Have a feeling Bontech was not expecting the amount of press that they've gotten over the index, and they're kind of caught a little bit on that one because they were looking to tease, and all of a sudden we're like, actually, we would like more of this, please and thank you.
Yeah, they were looking to tease and accidentally made the hottest thing on the planet.
Yeah. All of a sudden, we're like JD Vance looking at a couch over here. Okay, we're interested and we want more.
I hate how much like my Instagram feed is just JD Vance. Everything is JD Vance at the moment.
God,
I can't escape it.
I'm
not even in America.
I will share with you my personal Instagram so I can just send you bullshit memes all the time. This is wonderful.
More.
That's the only reason I have a personal Instagram is for memes. I have no posts. I think I only follow like 2 people. Like it's great.
I realized I actually have to make a personal account because I can't keep sending memes to my friends with my business account.
That's exactly why I had to do it. I had it, yeah. Because Andrew's like, you do know that every time Amber sends you a meme or one of your other friends sends you a meme to the company account, it notifies all of us, right? I'm like,
oh no,
I didn't think about that. That's fair. He's like, yeah, if you don't mind, can you just make a personal Instagram, please? And do it over there. I'm like, yeah, that's fair. He's like, okay, thanks. I'm like, yeah, I didn't think about that. Because we actually get notified 3 times. Once from Instagram, once from Facebook, and once from Facebook Business Manager.
Oh, I hate Facebook Business Manager. I do not get along with it.
Hate it too.
Oh.
One of the people that Grant follows is Jacob's mother. Jesus Christ. But I would say
it's a very interesting time for the industry.
If we ignore the freaking laser on the H2D, I dig it. And at the price point, brother, that price point is aggressive. I am still most excited about the AMSs, but the little AMS HT of being only a single spool, and they don't heat when the machine is printing? Why? Why
they have to fix that in firmware.
The heaters when the machine is printing. That's literally what I want in a high temp AMS. Why?
Which is
Why?
weird because they heat in the AMS2 while printing. It's just the high temp AMS single unit that doesn't do it.
It's got to be a power delivery problem.
I
What
don't even
else
think
would
it's
it be
that.
other than power?
The heater for the HT is mains powered, so they have no excuse.
I didn't know that. The other thing about mains power, the bed. The bed.
Oh, the bed
Why?
is so value engineered.
Why? Oh my! Like the video, the FLIR video from CNC Kitchen of like
it was
30 degrees Celsius temperature variation from the center to the edge. Bamboo. You want to talk about cost cutting? That was cost cutting at its absolute finest.
I know. I hate it.
They use the same style heater that they put in the A1, which I will remind people was part of a nationwide recall for a fire hazard. Not that this one is a bed slugger, but still.
Understand it. I really don't understand the logic between expensive machine, basically an oven in like heater coil. That's all they've got is
so
just a standard ceramic style oven heater. And the bed is so... We're probably not going to see much on social media because it's an expensive machine. But I bet you people who buy this machine will be struggling with bed adhesion on certain parts because it's going to have a temperature delta. Even heat soaking will not solve that.
If you can heat the chamber, will it be that much of an issue?
I don't think so then. But that's only if you heat the chamber. I mean, so for anyone who isn't in the know, the bottom of the A1 series is an oven style tube heater.
Yeah, just like a
Yeah, and they've put it in a cast aluminium, very value engineered because there's ribbing all over. It's not a plate; it's literally just a mold.
It's like
which
a radiator,
they slide this
basically.
in. It's a radiator.
Yeah,
they've done the same with the H2D, and they've done it with basically the same coil. Like you have big gaps between one bit of the heater and the other bit, and you're just allowing the temperature to spread over there. But they haven't even done a good job with that. If they put more material, it would have spread out easier because then you've got heat load that would have spread. They didn't even do that.
Give me a slightly more expensive printer. Like the one thing that the +4 does right is its bed is like 6 effing millimeters thick. Like the heat plate for it is so thick. It takes a long time to heat it, which is a problem. But my God, it is even across the whole thing.
I need to send you a picture later. My new high precision beds came in. Possible upgrade kit for the C1 and the C2. High precision beds, 50 micron flatness across all of it. 6 mil thick. Perfect.
I'm trying to convince Prusa to send me the XL style heaters because they have tons of them that end up out of spec. Well, I've got one for the coffee cup. I already have that. Thanks, Mikolas. Greatly appreciated. I don't drink coffee, but it's super cool. I want ones that are out of for the cat tree.
That's smart.
That's really smart. To utilize the XL beds and be able to temperature control it in different areas. And you can viably figure out where the cat is located because you'll be able to tell with the temperature sensors where it is warmer. So I can just heat up the plates where the cat is on.
That's really smart.
It is incredibly
That's really smart.
Incredibly stupid, and all the reasons why it needs to happen. But, like, out of all the things that I don't like about the XL, the big one being its part cooling fan has static pressure of a mouse fart. Prusa's implementation of that multi-piece bed and how it works is brilliant.
At first, I thought it was stupid.
It is one of their biggest
full circle on that.
It is one of their biggest innovations that no one seems to care about. That bed is perfect from edge to edge if you're heating up the whole thing. If you're not heating up the whole thing,
that's what I don't like about the H2D. Because bed uniformity massively matters. So, for example, I'm going to rip this off the rat rig. Might as well. That is a 410 by 410 bed plate.
Big
like
bib.
It is quite big. The problem with beds this big, which is obviously a bit bigger than the H2D, is when you get to the edges, it gets cold. Now, on the Construct 1 series, just for reference, we oversize our bed. We actually only print like 370 by 330 on the inside. The reason it's oversized is to allow the heat to spread out so you don't get the cold edge, so you can print to edge on the build volume. That is a big problem. We spent half a year making that decision. Do we oversize the bed and undersize the print volume so you can guarantee heat uniformity?
I think you do.
We said yes.
Yeah,
It made a big difference. When you get to the Bambulab, so now imagine this is the Bambulab. Their coil, if you look at the picture, is an M shape. You are going to have that problem on the edge, in the middle there, in the middle there, and in the middle all the way, and at both edges. It will be a huge problem. It will be such a big problem that I believe it will be the one thing that will make people want to return the machine early, because your uniformity of, let's say you're printing ABS, even with a heated chamber, your bed temperature is so important for adhesion and anti-warp. I believe you will have issues, like legitimately, like that. If this is not perfect, you will have issues. And I don't know what I think about it, like, at all. I think it will. That is the one detract. Like the laser and the safety, I can complain about all day.
And that's just the easy thing to complain about. By the way,
that's an easy thing.
It is the low hanging fruit to bitch about.
But it doesn't stop it working. Like,
no.
Yeah, you can squint with your safety goggles and you'll be fine. What you can't be fine with is a bad bed, because you can't fix it with something you do. That's a design choice.
Yep.
And it's a very interesting design choice. Like, silicon heater pads are not expensive.
No.
Like, at all. Like,
Cheap.
even with, like, temperature cutouts, they're not expensive. They saved, at most, $3 going from silicon to induction ceramic.
And they actively decided that that was a place where they could cut corners and it wouldn't be a problem on an $1,800 machine. That's a huge problem in my book, because if they've decided on something that is quite literally front and center to cut price point there, where else have we cut it? Because, like, they have servos. Well, they have one servo in the machine, then another servo up in the AMS. But, like, take that to a stepper motor. Give me a better heater.
Yep.
Right.
Like, there's so many weird decisions. Like, for the A1 series, it made sense. It is a value engineering thing that made that printer as cheap as it was.
It's a value engineered printer.
I praised it because of that decision. To use something that isn't a heater pad or a PCB heater, that was a smart decision. The problem is they've added a literal 0 on the end of the price tag, and then they've gone, this is still good enough. And I turn around going, no, it's not. You've changed your market. You've changed the requirements. Just because your customers are dumb enough not to realize the difference doesn't mean you get to treat them like they don't know the difference. They will still experience the problems just because they don't know that a helicopter should be pointing upwards.
Absolutely true.
You still need your helicopter pointing upwards.
Yep.
Like, you can't get away with that just because it saves you a bit of money. And it's probably the only thing I don't actively like about the H2D. I can complain about the laser, but I do like the laser. I like how they've implemented it. I like that. I'm a business person. I like that. But the bed, I actively despise.
It could be better.
It could be a lot better. Also, it's live power, and I do not appreciate live power on beds with that level of quality, because it becomes very hard to keep it safe. There's a reason our live power beds are silicon pads, nothing else, with multiple temperature cutoffs.
Yep.
And we literally have resettable fuses and an explosive fuse on our bed. So if something goes wrong, that wire is getting cut permanently to keep you safe. They don't have this on this.
I have a thermal camera now, which apparently other people on our Discord bought, and it totally worked on the PC for them. So I got to figure out why it wasn't working for me.
You're just unlucky.
I guess so. But we looked at the Core 1, which uses the PCB heater, the big one, like from the Mark III, that Prusa's been using since the Mark III. for nigh on a decade now, they've been using this same heater, right? The same style. It was within like 4C from the center to the edges. That's damn good. It's damn good. And if you think that's damn good, leave a like, get subscribed. Donate to help keep the streams ad-free. We only need 4 more donations to hit our goal again this time. We hit our goal last time. And thank you all again for 50,000 subscribers. It's a hell of a milestone. Thank you to the team that made it possible. Because again,
look at that number. That number's huge.
Yeah.
Make that number go up.
Without the team, that number wouldn't be anywhere near it. I'd probably would have given up on YouTube, honestly. Not gonna lie, if it wasn't for having the team. So it is a challenge. YouTube is harder than people think. And without having the team of people that we do, of which we are hiring for, by the way. So if you have skills in sponsorships and corporate like business development work, and you're looking for some side work, hit us up. But if it wasn't for the team, we wouldn't be anywhere near where we are. I would have never met Jacob.
Yeah.
I like, think about that. If it wasn't for the channel and the work that we've done and the amount of money that I put into this channel, I would have never met you. And
kind
like,
of weird to think about.
And it's why I say that the channel has, other than Q4, always loses us money so far. Because we pay well. We pay good wages to our team. And I'm okay with that because it's enabled me to do things that I couldn't do otherwise. Like, sure, I could go take a trip to the UK. It's going to cost me a bunch of money. But I couldn't bring people along with me to do it. And that makes all the difference. And then have a team of people who are excited for the work that we do, who are excited to see those numbers go up, who are excited because they recognize that our success is their success, and it is because of them that we are there. So, and to be clear, it's also because of all of you that are watching. So thank you for that. Seriously. Dream Void with the £2 saying, take my Google ad credit. Thank you. Greatly appreciate it.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it is a big number. I don't know if I've talked about this. I never thought I was going to be a content creator. Like, the channel is supposed to be 10 episodes of a podcast. 10.
I mean, I never expected to be a co-host. I make machines.
We are 22 times the amount of episodes that I initially expected to do. And they were supposed to be like 45-minute episodes as we're coming up on 2 3/4 hours. Because we just enjoy chatting about this stuff. You know, and it is really, it's because of everybody. It's because of the community. It's because of, hell, I'm sure a lot of it's because of Bambu. Right? A lot of it's because of Prusa, Bambu, Creality, Anycubic, Printed Freaking Solid, who you can enter to win some printed solid filament. After I'm done today, I have some meetings with some staff, and then I'm gonna do the shipments for the filament.
Yay.
So if I haven't gotten to yours, that's why. I'm very far behind. I'm multiple days behind in emails right now.
Oh.
And I'm choosing to
that
be
feeling.
here. Forget that. But yeah, I do worry that the build plate is going to produce problems on the H2D. I believe
that's the
it's
thing
going
that
to
I
be
think
the
is going to
failure.
be the big sticking point. That is going to fail first. Probably other things will fail first because of the bloody laser module. If you're cutting, it's going to make everything fail first.
Okay, fair.
But the main big failure, the thing that will become dangerous, it will be the bed. It has to be the bed. It's the main failure point. It's a live power bed. It's value engineered to oblivion on a machine that shouldn't have this level of value engineering. They're like, they could come up with, oh, we're using a magnesium zinc aluminium alloy. Bullshit. I don't care. You're stamping a bed.
Yeah.
And that's it. You're doing it to save a couple of pennies, when in reality, you're probably selling. Actually, no, I can understand why. They're selling to schools and businesses, and they don't know better.
Nope.
Half our customers are first-time printer customers. Like, literally have gone, we need a machine, we don't want cheap. And they're going to look at the H2D and then go, it's not cheap,
It's affordable,
or at least it's
though.
not cheap compared to £80,000 machines.
Right.
And they're going to go, yeah, it's more expensive than 600 quid. Must be good. And then they're going to get the cheapest bed ever made on the entire market.
Right.
Like that, you cannot say otherwise. Like you can't go, oh, there's cheaper beds. Name one. Name a bed that is cheaper made. Even like Aina A8 is a PCB bed. That is more expensive and higher quality than this. Now, don't get me wrong. These beds are ingenious. I do like the fact that they're reusing technology from other sectors with a very smart manufacturing process. It's not easy to do this.
I just hate it on an $1,800 printer.
I hate it on an $1,800 printer.
Yep.
It is so disingenuous to the thing that they're trying to sell, and you can tell they're doing it because they can get away with it. They can get away with a high school DT teacher will not know the difference between a PCB bed, a thick aluminium bed, hot rolled steel versus cold rolled aluminium, shitty bamboo bed versus high quality graphite beds.
Even if they do know, are they going to care?
Nope, not one bit, because it's not their point to care. They just want the machine to do the job, and that's it.
Bingo. If machine make part, me not care, right? And you know what? The A1, love it or hate it, was a test platform to see if they could get away with that heater. And they could. They could. And to be clear, the ANET is the best heater in terms of a printer because it is likely just to catch fire. But not a very even heat, unfortunately. It takes a little bit for it to become a very even heat.
Eric Cederberg with the oh no, I got the wrong person. That's two up. Dan 87423. I was hoping for a 400 by 400 or higher bed-sized bamboo. Any insight on why not many OEMs are making those printer sizes other than Ratrig? I would like to know Jacob's view on why Construct 3D does not have one yet. Mostly packaging size. Because we do not ship machines flat pack, the size of the machine will be the shipping price. And trust me, volumetric shipping price is the expensive bit. The same machine, flat pack versus not, goes from £60 shipping to £600 shipping, just because they do it on the size, not the weight of the thing. Secondly, there is a very small element to cost. When you get bigger, things become softer, so to say. Like if you get a rod and it's thin, it's very hard. If you make it longer, it's the same rod, but it's soft now. You have to start dealing with a lot of flexibility issues, and square becomes a thing. Our printers are designed with 410 by 410 beds inside them. We just limit it to 370 by 325. And on Construct 2, which is the same bed on the same frame, we're getting 355 by 390. The size isn't a massive issue point. It's mostly the cost of shipping, especially pre-built, like fully done machines. Storing machines. It's why we build to order. We cannot store more than 8 machines at once, so we build to order. And then also just assembly becomes a bit of a nightmare when you get bigger machines. Like you have to beef things up. So it makes sense. Not a lot of people want a bigger machine. Most prints that we get industrially are that big, like literally sub 100 mil overall.
The bulk of our machines fit onto a Prusa Mini 180 cube style bed. I understand that like the cosplayers and people out there that want bigger machines, that's where Ratrig might be good, but realize, as Jacob can likely say, and there are others inside of our Discord that will also likely say, Ratrig's documentation is a little tough. Speaking of tough, Tech Cheaper with the $5 saying, I like pizza. I like pizza too. Jacob.
What type of pizza?
Pineapple, yes or no on pizza?
Yes, always. I will die on the hill. Pineapple pizza deserves to be a good pizza. Now, I am a barbecue pizza personally. I like a good meat feast. I like a good, like, sweeter barbecue base.
Hold on, I need to clip that.
Is gorgeous.
Jacob, Andrew. Oh, no, wait, hold on. Andrew, I'm going to clip this for you. I need Jacob saying, I like a good meat feast. That's all that I need from this clip.
A good meat feast.
That is all that I need from this clip, Andrew. I need nothing else from this clip.
But I will die on the hill. Pineapple pizza deserves to be a thing And people who say otherwise are snobs because they don't understand flavor profiles. The sweet and the acid is exactly what you do when you're cooking for other meals to cancel out oily and alkaline base, which is what a lot of pepperoni is. So if you add a pineapple on it, now don't buy cheap pineapple, buy a slightly drier pineapple because you need it to cook correctly in the oven. It works. It actually is good.
We like our pineapple on pizza differently. You like to put the pineapple on before you cook it. I like to char it and put it on after it's done cooking.
Caramelized char or char?
It depends. If it's a sweeter pineapple, like to do a little caramelizing char on there. But I can go with a regular fire char, right? Like when you would char grill something. Because, specifically, the pineapple can dry out a bunch in the oven, and then I don't like it, but then it also releases its liquid into the pizza, so you get like soft spots in the dough. Not a huge fan of that. I prefer, Mad Cat's like, no, put it on before baking. I like to char it separately, then put it on. It has the same impact, but what it does is that the pineapple still has a lot of its flavor. It doesn't leach into the pizza. And yes, you are once again in Making Awesome Kitchen. Welcome to Making Awesome Kitchen.
0 hours from talking about food on this live stream.
I need Stefan to say, welcome to Making Awesome Kitchen, because that's what I need to play for this.
We always end up back on food.
I'm
going to say something weird. I'm a mayo on pizza person as well.
QP mayo.
QP mayo on pizza. If you've not tried it, you need to try it. Import some QP. Buy it locally. I don't care. It's good enough.
Start with a little bit. It can get overwhelming very fast. And do remember how many calories are in that mayo. People are like, no. Seriously, try it. Especially if you like ranch on pizza. Like if you like to dip your pizza in ranch, try it with QP mayo.
Yeah.
It'll be better than you think.
Oh, here's a good question. Thin crust, thick crust, or deep dish?
Thick crust. I don't like thin crust. There's one specific reason. I like to fold the pizza when I eat it, and when I do that with a thin crust, it breaks the crust, and sometimes the whole pizza gets cut too. I'm like, well, pain in the ass.
I was almost going to change language on you and start insulting you for that.
But my reasoning, I think, is sound. I like the crunch of a thin crust, but sometimes the effort in getting there is a pain. Deep dish, if I wanted a pizza pie, I would make a pie with pizza. Not a huge fan of deep dish. Now, I've never had real Chicago deep dish, so I'm not able to...
It is good. Though, I am an Italian thin crust lover myself, so...
Proper Italian thin crust, I can agree with you. We've got a place in Tampa, Salmonetti's, that does a proper Italian thin crust, and it's wonderful. But the way a lot of and because like I can hand toss pizza dough. I don't like to because I am lazy. It's a lot of effort. So I'll go get the frozen pizzas. Thin crust frozen pizza is crap. It's crap.
Well, I can't say if it's just because American thin crust is crap. UK can get pretty good, like legitimately.
All right, well then I'll have to try it when I'm out there next. Although we do see the Ben Wyatt example in the chat with the calzone. How do you feel about calzones?
They're just a folded pizza. Like, come on, they're pizza. That's it. That's a calzone. I love them.
But does a calzone give you a better ratio of filling to crust? I think it does. Now, the problem with a calzone is its ratio is best kind of in that, not at the end of it, but like as you're moving away from the center toward the quarter, that's the best ratio of crust to filling.
I don't know. The problem is I've only ever had crap calzone where it's like takeaway calzone.
I've had some really good calzones.
But the problem is if I'm going to a place that makes good pizza and good calzone, I'm going to get pizza.
That's fair. I agree. We have a place up here in Wesley Chapel called Amici's. They do decent pizza for the area, and I don't have to drive into Tampa to Salmonetti's. It's quite good. Yeah, look, if you put
Matt, if you say that again,
calzone,
you're
is
getting banned
Italian
from the
Cornish
entire thing.
pastry.
Calzone is not an Italian Cornish pastry. I will ban you if you say that shit again.
What is
around
calzone
me.
other than pizza ravioli?
Oh.
Here, I can just go have Amber go get me spaghetti. I'll break it on stream and piss off all the Italians. No, I can't do that. Costco pizza is actually pretty good. Jonathan over here, Tarzman, saying Costco pizza is life. They actually make a decent pizza. I mean, honestly, it's not for the price. It's a $10 18-inch pizza. That's a pretty good price.
That's pretty good.
He said he'll shut the door on his way out. Oh no. Capanella's on 49th, which I'm sure I'm not saying that with anywhere near enough. Capanella's on the 49th. Yeah, I'm not yelling it, so it's not Italian enough. But yeah. If I gave your brother meals, it would be a car incoming. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Look, here's the way I say it. I'll try any food. Any food once. Anything. And that includes that weird rotting fish Swedish thing. Eric.
I've tried some bad things.
Yeah, like,
I would not. I know when my limit is.
When I go to different countries and I travel, I don't want to go eat McDonald's. I want to go eat the local fare of food, whatever that may be. If I like
to be fair,
great. If I don't,
I gotta ask you a question though. How was McDonald's in the UK?
I don't eat McDonald's.
You did.
I had a McFlurry, right? I think that's what I had.
And chips.
I had one fry because you made me try a fry.
Yeah, how was it?
I haven't had McDonald's in the United States since 2003.
So the only thing
Amber's
I keep hearing from all my American friends is they keep complaining that McDonald's in America is ass. And when they came over to the UK, it was really good.
I assume
and to me, McDonald's in the UK is the most mid 5 out of 10 average food on the planet. Like, it is the definition of average. Nothing special, nothing bad. 5 out of 10. Exact.
And people like you.
And then hearing America's like it's bad, I'm like, how can it be worse?
Why would I go to McDonald's when I could go have a much better meal for only a slightly increase in money by going to a mom and pop restaurant?
That is also true.
Like, why?
Though I have to take you to Malta and try McDonald's in Malta because they get everything on the menu because they're an importer of all of the rest of Europe. So you get all the special stuff.
I will happily do that. But like when we were in Prague.
You want the McSurf and Turf? I can give you the McSurf and Turf.
McSurf and Turf.
I'm not even kidding.
That sounds like the meme with the McDonald's with the 3D printed McDonald's brass knuckles, right? It's the Mick F you up, right? Yeah, I prefer to find like the hole in the wall. Like we did this in Prague. We found this hole in the wall pho place for Vietnamese noodles, and my God, it was so good. Some of the best that I've had, and the last time I had really good pho, like proper good pho, was on the Champs-Élysées in France. Okay, like we get decent pho here locally, but the place off the Champs-Élysées in France was amazing, absolutely amazing. In Prague, it was like 250 crowns for a massive bowl.
That's not
like
much.
I could finish the whole thing myself. Massive bowl. Amber could not, and I was struggling to finish it. It's like $10 US. It was nothing.
That's so good.
It was
so good.
Like anytime someone goes out there and I know them, I'll send them a message. All right, this is where you need to go. You need to get this. This is what you need to get. Like, and I love the svíčková and the goulash and some of the other traditional Czech dishes. They're amazing. I would eat svíčková every single day of the week if I could. It is amazing. Absolutely amazing food. I've never had a bad meal in Prague. We even went to a place called, and I kid you not, this is the name of the restaurant. It's not cussing if it's the name of the restaurant. Good fucking burger.
I hope they did good fucking burgers.
They were good. They had the Southern burger, and as a Southern-ish guy myself, it wasn't very Southern. I think that was the name of it. I'm gonna pull up the actual. I have a picture.
So you went
of it.
overseas just to buy a burger flavored after your local flavors.
I did that because a friend of mine from Prusa, wanted to take us there because he really liked the burgers, and I am not going to say no to that.
Yes, but then you bought the flavor for your local flavors instead of trying something else.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's called Here. There's the picture. Hillbilly. Fucking good burgers. Fucking good burgers. Excuse me.
Oh.
So yeah, there you go. That's the restaurant. That's what it's actually called. And that is my good friend Tommy from Prusa.
I think Jason Graham has it good. To be fair, it was Good Burger, not Great Burger.
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. May I take your order? There. Now all you 90s kids get the fun that you were looking for in that. I say we wrap this. I say let's wrap this baby in a bow and get these people off to go hanging out with Steve Builds. What do you say?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, I guess I got to clip that. So H2D as a printer, impressed. Bed,
very
mid at best. H2D.
I think it can survive. I don't think it's going to be a deal breaker, but I think it can be.
Yeah.
A detractor once you start looking for very particular things. Like if you're needing that perfect like bed level with certain materials and they're just like, I don't know, maybe it's just really little bits, like an entire bed of little bits, and some just don't stick. I think it could be based on the heat. But other than that, the hardware, the software, the printer side only, I think this is high A tier. Like this is a damn good printer with really well built kinematics.
Does the software knock some points off? To me, it does. The firmware reliance and all that.
I'm gonna say no, because I know what I am, but I also know what the customers are. The customers don't care. So I don't think it matters for them. For me, it is a deal breaker. I cannot buy one of these printers for any of the jobs I do. And it kind of sucks because it means I can't justify buying one for research either, because I can't plug it in. And that is the problem. So for me, it's a deal breaker. For you, it's a deal breaker. For certain businesses, it will be a deal breaker. But I still think their current implementation of the software, the hardware, just the quality of the machine.
Bambu Studio integration.
If it wasn't for the software, it would be an S tier. It's probably one of the highest value machines on the market if it wasn't for the software. If they had that as like a very, I mean, hell, even if they had a backdoor available for like X1 Plus style of firmware integration, that would become an S tier printer at that stage.
Oh, I guess when the X1 Plus guys get it, we'll find out if there's any backdoors or some particular people in this chat happen to get them. I'm sure if there are, they will be found. I have to agree with you. I think an 8085 is pretty decent for the machine. I think when you include the watchdog of the firmware, it drops to kind of like a mid 70 for me. As a machine alone, I agree with some of the others that I would have been nice for it to be bigger. You can't print the whole build plate with just one nozzle. You have to use both, the way that Joel showed.
Yeah.
And so like there are some complications to hit the promised numbers.
I think if they changed their marketing ever so slightly, so they undersold it a bit more and then over-delivered, it would have bumped it up a little bit further. Because they've still got a bloody good machine. It's a good machine.
Yeah.
It's just the marketing I've got a bit of a question mark over.
And I think like an SV08 with an index is just a better value of a machine, and that's not even available to me yet, and I would argue that's probably a better machine. H2D with laser, absolute fail for me. If you buy the laser module, so like if you buy it because you want the drag knife and the pen, 100% okay with that.
Yeah.
And you know, you get the 10-watt laser because it's the only way they sell it. Fine. I don't like... If Bambu can do good on the safety of the laser and what the machine is lasering, then I will up my name or my number for it. But right now, H2D with a laser and you use both, you're getting like a 30, maybe a 40% for me.
The
out of
laser
100.
makes the H2D a H2 disappointment. And I don't like it because of that. Like, it's
Yeah.
not a Glowforge. If they made a separate machine with their laser system,
Make a Glowforge.
instant S tier.
Yep.
Like, they've got the hardware, they've got the software. They could make the best laser cutter for consumers and light industrial / prosumers instantly.
I will say
It wouldn't surprise me if they're doing that.
Bambu Studio, assuming they still have to open source the drag knife, pen plotter, and laser, which I don't think they have to, but maybe they do. I don't know. That's not my field. But if they do have to open source that, S tier. If they don't, it's A tier.
Yeah.
I think their
Still
implementation of
worth
doing
a
it all
buy at
within
that point.
Bambu Studio, absolutely beautiful. From what I've seen from the software, it looks really, really nice. It's well laid out. It's clean. It's pretty. It's what I want in a user-friendly software. So
Yeah.
kudos. Good job, Bambu.
Yeah.
Good job. But your implementation of the laser is ass at best. No thanks.
I think the big
No, thanks.
takeaway from this is their marketing team got a shot across the bow. And that's it. Like,
Yeah.
if they tiered like the release H2D base model, 2-3 months later, H2D laser upgrade,
I think it would have been
as a
received better.
thing, it would have been received so much better.
I think so.
I think they tried to bite off not more than they could chew, but assume that if they just triple down on everything, the hype will become so explosive it drowns everyone out. And instead, they found the cap of hype, and then it collapsed in on itself.
And then it got drowned out by a teaser video.
Yes. Which, to be fair,
It's pretty good.
oh, it's pretty good.
Peter Printer with 5 memberships. Thank you very much. Thank you for donating. Yeah, I have to agree. It will be very curious to see how these machines, when they get out to the end consumer, how they do.
I bet they're gonna love it, to be fair. Like, if this is education, if this is like industry, they're gonna love it.
I think so.
They're not gonna care, because if it goes wrong, they're just gonna blame themselves. They're not gonna blame the machine. That's what we've been noticing with a lot of industrial companies, is they blame themselves for a lot of things that shouldn't be their fault.
Yeah.
Which means they're gonna get away with it. And
Yeah.
it is, from what I know, from the context I have in resellers, bearing in mind Bambulab's margins for resellers is abysmal. They're selling like hotcakes already. Like, just locally, I believe that somebody told me like they've sold like 30 machines already. And that's a reseller. And you can just buy from Bambulab's official website.
Yep.
Which is probably what other people are going to do. So it's selling quite well. Is it going to be as popular as the P or the X series? No.
No, its price point's too high.
But it's not for them. This is for almost like
power
student.
Users to light
power
industrial.
users,
Yeah.
students, light industrial. Like, this is the I have a bougie YouTube channel with a really nice camera and I just like making fun stuff type printer. You know what I mean, though. Like,
I do.
What I can't remember the woman's name. She makes and her team. It's like architecture based, just YouTube videos, and they got sponsored by Bambulabs for one episode. I know it was on their June video, and it was great. Like, it was a really good implementation of 3D printing to show off camera, to show off film, but also architecture. That's the type of person who's going to love this machine, because they can laser cut a bit of card, they can print something, they can make a video with it. They're the type of people that love the process and the art of the process. And this machine allows you to show off art of the process.
I will be curious to see what the cameras themselves can see, how those get implemented, if users have better access to those cameras and things like that. Time will only tell with this machine. I know that unless one shows up at my door, Bambu has my address. Unless one shows up at my door, it is probably not for us. And I would once again argue and tell everyone that is still watching, if you see a review of a machine that is less than 3 months old, it's not a review. it's a sponsored video. Because, I'm sorry, you need at least 3 months with a machine to do a real review. Like, I am almost ready to take the Core 1 and do a review of it. Okay? And I've printed with that machine. Really, I should probably do it after I have 58 kilos that I need to run through it. I should probably do it after that.
YouTube incentivizes batch videos.
Yeah.
So if everyone is releasing a video, that's the time YouTube incentivizes you releasing a video.
Yep.
So when you see these reviewers coming out with their videos all at roughly the same time because an embargo is dropping, they're not doing it because they're ready to show the review. They're doing it because it's that time is the time to get good views because the algorithm will promote it better.
And calling it a review means you're going to get more views because that's what people are looking for.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
As a content creator, someone that doesn't really do reviews, I like to look at reviews as like a 3-month, 6-month, and year potential. I did the 6-month review of our Bambulab X1 Carbon, and that video still to this day gets hate comments.
Yeah. I like first looks.
Yes.
Not as a review, but more as is there instant deal breakers that people have picked up instantly?
And that's why we do them. We do them because we want to see what the experience is like. If there are problems, I want to show them. If there's good, I want to show it. If the machine's going to warm up its rear SSR to 200 Celsius, I want to show it. These are all things that we want to do. And yeah, I would just be careful trusting creators that call something a review within 3 months of a machine being released. Hedge that, feel it out. I've got faith in a lot of you to make those right decisions, but just be careful. We don't want to see your buying habits be influenced for the wrong reasons, right? And then ultimately, support those who you want to support. We all have affiliate links with pretty much all the major brands. We do not have one with Bambu. So if you want to buy a Bambu, go support somebody else's affiliate link. I never applied for their program, and I don't want to be in it. But if you do want to buy machines, utilize affiliate links. It supports those creators who helped you make those decisions. And if you have questions, ask them in the comments. That's what they're there for. And if you don't get replies, well, something to think about there too. So, yeah. That's how I see it. All right. Let's sign off. Let's give away some filament. Let's go have them go hang out. So
let's see how many people have submitted this time.
In 50,024 subscribers, Jacob, do you want to send us off on this one for the first stream ever at over 50,000 subscribers?
Yeah. So I hope everyone did have fun. We've only gotten sidetracked multiple times into food. So make sure all of you stay safe out there. Don't forget to call the ones that you love. And as always, keep making awesome. And we'll get sidetracked on more onto food next time. And with a full brand refresh on the next stream.
Yes.
Look
if you're
forward
still
to that.
here,
make sure you're subscribed for that brand refresh.
We're doing a full brand refresh.
Amazing.
Yeah. I have seen lots of it. I really like it. I'm excited.
I'm really looking forward to it. I think you guys are not ready for how small changes make big impacts.
Yeah, I think you guys are going to really like it. And Madcat, Mr. Pessimist, who said we wouldn't reach 50K by the 1st of April. I did say that in a staff meeting. I did not expect Friday's video to do as well as it did. If we were on the same trajectories on Friday, we would not have hit 50K by the 1st. So,
I mean, it's the first somewhere in the world, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe.
All right, I got to end the recording. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Pineapple belongs on pizza.
Yeah, we're still here though. We're still here. I had to stop the recording for the audio only. But yeah, we did. We did do it. And yes, Amber apparently wants to know where she's taking me for dinner.
McDonald's.
No fast. I won't eat it. I literally won't. I passed a kidney stone when I was really young, and I haven't had soda or fast food since. That is a great way to just immediately cut a diet. I don't drink caffeine. Anything with caffeine in it, I really don't drink or anything like that. So
I'm a bit addicted to caffeine. I enjoy it too much because it doesn't affect me in the same way that it's supposed to. It calms me. And that is
right,
the weird thing.
right, because you've got
We've got the Neurospicy, where it does
Yeah.
the opposite.
yeah.
Honestly, if you're neurospicy and you know caffeine doesn't do much to you, try having one just before you go to bed. You might have one of the best sleeps you've ever had.
Oh, for me, it's a muscle relaxer sleep. There's nothing better than muscle relaxer sleep. Oh man, but I'm
Also,
also
the Italians are going to kill me for that.
I have
because
chronic
that's
pain.
way too late.
So please don't just like, take muscle relaxers without knowing what you're doing. Cause like I have prescribed muscle relaxers that I use to help deal with my chronic pain.
No, aren't muscle relaxers is when you need to have that massive meat feast pizzas.
Jesus Christ. All right. Let me see if this person has one and if they did it all right. So let's scroll to the bottom. Let's find the name. I still have not gotten a text back from your mom. Said she
Let me
was
check
out
where
and
she
about
is.
doing stuff.
Yeah, she went to visit my nana and my nanu.
Nice.
So
There he is. Okay, Russell Miller, if you are still here
not
in the
home yet.
chat, you're fine. I just wanted to, just having fun. Russell Miller, if you're still here, you do win. Let's do another one. The Wheel of Names. I think this person's won already. Let's find out. Jacob, what are your plans for the rest of the day? What are you going to be doing?
Not entirely sure yet. I'm might have a D&D game depending on if they will let me in or not. Might not. Might do after stream. Not sure.
Why wouldn't they let you in?
Because it started 45 minutes ago.
Oh shit.
And I did warn them in advance that no matter what happens, this comes first because this is both work and fun.
Well, yeah, that's fair.
And the D&D does go on for quite a while. And I can't really put my life on hold just to play some funny pen and paper RPG games.
Fair.
I was considering for a little bit. If any of you are listening, hi.
Also,
not sure if you are. Spoiler alert. I was half considering maybe backing out because I do lose all my Sundays now. I wake up, I go to therapy, I get back, I do a live stream, and then I'm instantly in D&D. That's my entire Sunday. I love it. Don't get me wrong. Actually, don't get me wrong. But now that I'm doing more things, like I've got, I do HEMA, so I do longsword training on Mondays. I do my Thursday D&D in-person game. I've now got one on Saturdays, which is really fun because that character gives me physical damage every time I have to play him, which is fun in a sadistic kind of way. Yeah, and I'm just not massively vibing with the Sunday D&D.
And then Max H, who I just saw post in there, you won as well. So we did 3 this time because we I had a big thing. So yeah.
But no, why did you ask? Did you have anything in mind?
I was just wondering. And I hate dead air, so I was like, we gotta keep talking about something. What are we gonna talk about? So yeah, I guess now the chat has to figure out where I'm going for dinner. And yes, I did see emails. So if you send emails, they sometimes get buried, but I did see them and they're in my list. It is better to DM me on Discord or DM me on Twitter or Blue Sky. Those are but you can email me, but just realize that email's also all the company emails, so they can sometimes get buried. If you don't hear back, just reach out again, right?
Also, what the chat can do is decide what I need to do to replace this machine that's sitting here. I finished working on it. She works.
Oh, you got it running.
I don't like her. I got it running. I finally printed some things. The flow rate of the hot end is absolutely abysmal. The pre-done configs are wrong for the type of hot end, so they were massively under amping the motor. But it's working now, so I could put it wherever I want. So I now need to have a new machine to work on. Mum was saying I should probably put one of our Construct One printers, but I think it's a bit shilly having my own printer in my own background. I can
I think
understand
you
the
should.
logistics. It's a bit of an advert.
Yeah, you totally should. If it's gonna be back there, yeah, it should be your printer. Especially because you make that. Nick T's asking, when is t-shirts a go? Soon, TM. We have something for the
Soon
first.
TM.
So that's all I got to say about that.
April Fools. There is no shop. There is no merch. It was all a lie all along.
It's all a lie. This is fake. This is. I'm actually not even wearing clothes. You just don't
Yeah.
know.
It's green paint.
It's green
Body paint and it's
Yeah.
green screened.
That's what everybody wants.
Yeah. It's like I've got a hotkey for my background. Grant has a hotkey for a shirt.
I do not. My computer is not that fancy. Let's see. Is Steve still streaming? Steve is still streaming. Let's go.
Yes. Let's
All
get
right.
you lot all over there. Let's go crash him and hopefully him not
Yeah.
end within 40 seconds of us joining.
We're gonna go have you guys raid into Steve. Someone asked, don't you be part of the Discord to mess with people? No, I am at 3D Musketeers on Discord. My DMs are open on Discord. DM me on Discord. It is much my
For me,
preference.
I'm _notepad_. Add me. Send a message that you actually like where you've seen me, because I get so many spam messages of people trying to send me to their OnlyFans. So just actually put a
That's
message
how you
that isn't
found
just
me.
hi, here's a link.
That's how you found me. All right, we're gonna send you
All
guys
them
out of
feet
here.
pics.
See ya.
Bye everyone. Pineapple belongs on pizza.
Keep making awesome, and thank you again for 50K. Thank you to the whole team for making it happen. I'm just the muse. See you all later.